Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib, and we have a great show for you today. And if you want to call in and ask questions, you can call in right now, excuse me, at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 8:30 tonight. Just depends. Could be one of those nights, you never know. Tonight, we are going to talk about Beeb's boy. Beeb, you are responsible for this man. You're responsible for the things he does because he's your boy. And that's the way it goes. Oscar De La Hoya is coming out of retirement. You are responsible for this, Beeb. Also, too, Canelo Alvarez seemingly lines up his next opponent. We'll talk about some hurdles and that he may have, some complications he may have with this guy. But first, let's get started with DAZN. Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin. Ooh, man. Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin wins by 5th round KO. Trust me, man, nobody saw this one coming. It was one of the most brutal knockouts you're going to see. The fight went back and forth with Whyte putting Povetkin down, I think it was twice in the 4th round, and he had them all but out. I mean, he really did. He had them all but out. But in the 5th, hey, that's why they play the game, man. In the 5th round, Povetkin caught him with a left uppercut, and this was insane because it was just perfect. It was like the perfect shot. He threw, he ducked underneath, boom. Didn't even see it coming. He was out before he hit the floor. He just caught him. That left uppercut was sick. Just sick. Beeb, what were your thoughts when you saw this?
I'm going to be honest. I said Povetkin was live, but with that being said, I still didn't think he was going to win.
No.
I thought he'd give him problems. The upset was possible, but not likely, is what I said. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I thought that he was going to win. But what I did think was it was going to be a tough fight. It was going to be kind of ugly in spots. I thought both guys would fight each other in the inside, and it may get a little sloppy here and there. I thought it would go rounds. I thought Whyte would more than likely stop him maybe in the 9th or 10th round. But one thing about Whyte is, he's got defensive liabilities. He can be touched. I thought early on I gave Povetkin the first 2 rounds, and I gave Whyte the next 2. And obviously that 4th round was a huge one. So, like I said, he has a porous defense, Dillian Whyte. And I didn't really buy what the announcers were saying that Povetkin looked slow. I thought he looked pretty good. He was touching Whyte, so if he couldn't have been that slow. But at that point in the 5th round, I don't even think Whyte did anything wrong. It's like Povetkin he had like this much space to land that punch. And that was like right out of a movie. That was like picture perfect. He thread the needle beautifully. And like I said, I don't even think Whyte did anything wrong. His hands really weren't in a bad position because he had his hands up. And if he had him too far in, then he would have been open for a looping right hand or a left hook.
Right.
So he had his hands right in the right position. And that little bit of an opening that he did have, it was so hard for anyone to really land a punch with that opening. But Povetkin, like I said, threaded the needle, picture perfect, perfect punch. Probably could never throw that punch again in a million years because that was just like one of those things. Like that's like hitting like a half-court shot at the buzzer. You know what I'm saying? It was just one of those things. And I'm not taking anything away from Povetkin because we've seen him display power with that left hook, that left uppercut, and those like 45-degree angle type punches. He carries a lot of power in that left hand. We already know that. And he was landing some decent left hooks in the fight as well. But like I said, It was just one of those things. I think if Dillian Whyte goes back and looks at the tape, he's going to say to himself, I really didn't do anything wrong. This guy just landed the perfect shot on me. I mean, what can you do? What can you do?
You know, sometimes there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You know, he can, and like you said, he can go back to the drawing board, but what really could he do? What could he do different? I mean, he's got to improve his defense. I mean, but it's a little late in the game for that. He is who he is. He gets hit. And what do you do? You know, I mean, that's just it, man.
You know, and I thought that fight with Parker, he looked very vulnerable. He looked vulnerable in those Chisora fights. Now, he earned his shot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he fought all those guys. He's got wins. You know, he did what he had to do.
Right.
But he still was a vulnerable guy. He's not like in my opinion, all these guys are very vulnerable defensively, except for Tyson Fury, the best heavyweight of all time. Tyson Fury.
How dare you?
Tyson Fury
is
the only guy that has the complete package when it comes to offense, defense, inside, outside. He can do it all.
I want to ask, let's ask our special guest here, R.A., the rugged man. How are you, my man?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Wow.
Boxing show, huh?
That's it, man.
I've been say it again. Go ahead.
I was about to say, you've been out the loop with the boxing. I haven't seen too many boxing tweets from you lately. What's been going on?
You know what happened? I'm raising my kids in Germany. It's the first time in my whole life that I'm like not on top of every single fight, every single fighter.
I realized that.
It's crazy because I moved to Germany because my kids live there. They go to school there. Their mother's a school teacher out there. So if the big fights come on at 6 a.m. out there, and they don't have it on the HBO. Well, HBO doesn't even exist anymore with boxing, but you know what I mean. That's how out of touch I am.
Yeah,
but,
I know what you're saying.
yeah, so it's hard. The only fights I get to watch out there is like the Zan. You know, I went to the Nonito Donaire fight in Japan. I went there.
Wow.
That was great. That was a
good fight.
One of the best fights I saw in a long time, and I saw it live. Packed house, 20,000 people before this coronavirus thing happened. You know, we're not allowed to curse, right? Yeah.
No, you can.
Absolutely.
You can.
Yeah. So like, if you're naming like every fight happening right now, usually I'm right on top of it, and I'm like, oh man, I'm doing a boxing show. What if they start hitting me? And I'm like, who's that? Forget all the names and stuff. You know.
Let me ask you though, because Beeb just brought it up. He thinks Tyson Fury. He just called Tyson Fury the best heavyweight ever.
Oh yeah, but Tyson's super skilled. We know that.
He really is, right?
I love Tyson Fury, man.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan. That's why I say.
I am too. And you know what's funny? I used to say it before he came back and everything. That I said that he could beat Deontay. He could beat the big
Klitschko.
guy. Klitschko, not Klitschko. The big guy, Joshua.
Yeah.
I said he could beat everybody. But then when he had the mental breakdown, I was like, you know what? He's mentally ill. He doesn't want to fight. He blew up into this big fat guy. So I was like, mentally, maybe he can't anymore, you know? And then he came back and started looking really good again, you know? So Tyson's a really super skilled fighter, really good fighter.
Do you think he could have competed in any era though? Because when you look at those other guys, obviously we know they were great back in the 70s and the 90s. We know that those two eras of heavyweights were great. But those guys were smaller. I mean, when you got a guy that's big like that and skilled, that's going to be a handful for anybody, in my opinion. I mean,
I'm not so sure. You know, the best weights. Remember, it was at 212. You know, Ali at 212, Tyson 212. I don't know about that. I don't think size when it comes to heavyweights. You know, and the thing is, it's not like he punches harder than the guys at 210. You know, Foreman, Liston, Shavers, they all hit 10 times harder than, not 10 times, but way harder than Tyson Fury. So, you know, he's just super fast for that size.
No, he can lay his body on you too. He's got like that body. He just lays it on you.
You know what I'm saying? You could lean that body on you and wear you out a little bit, but then, you know, Ernie Shavers come back with one of those, you know, and you're in trouble. I don't know. I don't think these guys. I think a guy like, say, Tim Witherspoon was on top of his game. I think he would beat Tyson Fury even. And I'm a fan of Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
I really am a fan of Tyson Fury. No taking away. And like, I think, you know, Larry Holmes would you know, keep that jab and make Tyson look foolish, you know. But you know, these are fantasy matchups, so maybe I'm completely wrong. Who knows? But I believe,
yeah,
you know, and Ali was so smart, and you know. the smartest ever. You know, he could have figured out tricks for Fury. I don't know. I'm a fan of Fury, like I said, but also you forget the fight with Deontay Wilder. The 2 times he got hit, he went down hard. You know, like you know, it was a draw because he outboxed him, but. Like, imagine if that was a George Foreman in there, you know? I don't know.
Did you have him winning that fight, or do you think the draw was justified? How'd you look at it when you saw it?
I thought Tyson, you know, won on the cards, but I wasn't like, wow, robbery, because, you know, you did look the way you did look in that particular fight. You know, you're down on your ass twice, and you did get hit, and you looked the last round, he looked like he was dead. So technically, yes, he won the fight because he won more rounds and won more points on my card. But, you know, there's that moral thing. You know what I mean? It's almost like Martinez is, you know, this isn't the same case because, you know, Martinez destroyed Chavez Jr. every second of the round, you know, and everybody said Chavez Jr. shouldn't even been in that fight before the fight happened. You know, Sergio Martinez too much skill. But then when he almost destroyed Sergio Martinez with 1.5 minutes left in the fight, that left everything open for everybody. Oh, come, you know, it should be a rematch. Oh, the kid really did have it. He just needed that 1 second. It kind of gives you this justification, even though you lost the fight, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I had Martinez winning every second of that fight. So that's not even a good it's not even a good analogy. I don't know why I went there.
No, but because like if you compare the
victory for Chavez Jr. because
So you just mentioned Martinez. What do you think about him coming back? He just had a fight on Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, I heard he looked good, but you know, who did he fight? You know,
right? Who did he fight? Yeah.
Well, the thing, honestly, I was big on Martinez too. I thought he was, you know, a tremendous fighter, and the one fight that I still can't get out of my head that I'm like still kind of like, wow, like. And people go, oh, it's because his body was falling apart. But when Cotto dominated him like that, so easy, it's still a fight I can't like. I would have bet, you know,
I bet on Cotto.
On Martinez. I would have
bet on Cotto. I bet on Cotto because when I seen Martinez with 2 knee braces on an elliptical training for that fight, because I got some effed up knees myself. I know how it is, bro. Like you can't pivot, you can't, you know, you feel it, right?
Yeah,
and I was telling people, I was like, Martinez is jacked up. You know what people were telling me? Doesn't matter. Even if he's jacked up, he's still gonna knock out Cotto. And I made a lot of money on that.
I didn't think he was gonna knock him out, but I thought he would.
I didn't think he was gonna knock him out, but I thought he was gonna beat him. I thought he was gonna beat him because I knew Martinez's whole game was his legs, and his legs were gone.
Yeah, they were gone. They were gone.
They were
now
gone,
he's back 6 years later. Yeah, but I mean, you know what it is? It's you get gassed up by that name, and Martinez wasn't looking good in the fight before it, and he had a couple close fights that some people thought he might have lost the decision. He got dropped a couple times, and some people beat. So I like Martinez too. I'm a fan of Martinez. I just
it's hard not to like him. He's a good
the way
guy.
He got dominated so hard by Cotto. I was like, holy shit. That's one of the ones that I was really wrong about. I mean, I didn't put money on it or nothing, but I would have. You know, I would have. Yeah. And in the first round, Cotto just ran through him, boom, and you know, think how many rounds did it go? 6 or 7. But the first round, he dropped him, beat him up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So. Now, aside from you're a big boxing fan, obviously, but you're also a big music guy as well. You have a new album coming out, correct?
The new album, All My Heroes Are Dead. Yeah, it's out right now. Yep.
And you can get it on iTunes and everything like that.
You can get it everywhere, and there's videos for it. There's a bunch of videos out right now. The latest video is called All Systems Go, but we got a video called Gotta Be Dope with me and Afro and Jazzy Jeff. We got Legendary Loser. We got a lot of videos. We got a lot of and the album's doing tremendous. It's really doing great worldwide and getting critical acclaim. And we charted high up on a lot of charts all throughout the world. We're doing very well with it. You know, the only problem is we can't tour right now. So, you know, when you have a successful project, you're supposed to go do 150 shows and set yourself up for life off of that. You know.
Yeah, how difficult is it? I mean, that's got to be pretty difficult. I mean, how do you get around that? I mean, when you have a new album or whatever and you got to do the tours and you know, everything like that, how does that work now? I mean, it's got to be a different dynamic, no?
Well, everything's shit. Look at boxing. You got to box in front of like just a couple people, you know? So it's the same thing. Like I did a show in Berlin and there was nobody in the crowd, and then they put it on the internet for people to watch the show, and it's not the same experience. And you're not going to you can't do a show every week on the damn internet,
Right.
So everybody's just trying to figure out ways to keep going in different direct. We got to figure out what the hell we could do. It's difficult, So when you usually drop an album, you go and you tour in 100 something cities, and your posters are in all the record stores because you're touring there. You're doing the radio shows at every city. The promoters are promoting your name in that city because they're booking you to do a show in their venue, and it's an easier way to promote the record when you got the internet and your own body in the flesh going from town to town. So yeah, it's tough. It is tough, man. And my album dropped, and now I have a tour in October in Europe. And some of them shows might still be happening, but they got to make the audience half the audience. So if it was going to be 450 people, I think it got to be like 200 people or something. And but some of them are canceling them even and saying, hey, we're going to do it in April. So it's like, damn, I'm going to lose another 6 months from that money off that damn tour. So it's complicated,
Is it different? Let me ask you a question, because I've always been interested in this. So is it different making money now as opposed to back then, when they sold albums and stuff? And I know you have albums and CDs, but it's more like online now. Is it a different dynamic as far as getting paid and everything like that goes?
Yeah, it is different because you don't sell as many records anymore, but there's all this streaming, and you don't make that much money from streaming. But the reverse to that, when there were shows happening, was your music is getting heard by millions more people because they're not buying it, they're streaming it, and it's somebody sends a link to their friend, and somebody sends a link, boom, boom, and it's like a virus. It just spreads and spreads, and so more people get to hear the music, even though less people buy the product. So you're getting way more tours because everyone knows the music all over the world. And then so a show promoter's like, oh, I got this great album from so-and-so, and everyone in my town's talking about it. So you're getting booked in all these random towns. But like with this damn, I almost called it Ebola with this this virus going around right now. Holy shit, see, I blanked it out of my head. I'm so scarred by it. Corona. Yeah, with the Corona, it's screwing up a lot of people's work,
So what were the challenges of actually being able to get the album recorded and stuff? Were you able to go to the studio, or how did you put that together?
No, the album was recorded and mixed and mastered, thank God, before Corona,
Oh, it was. Okay.
So and we had the artwork, and we had filmed a few videos that were on the editing table. We were working on the edits. So that worked out, but nothing else did. But things did work out because people are home. They're going and picking it up on the internet. And like I said, we charted very high in a lot of countries. And I think on the United States Billboard charts, we went number 22 best-selling album of the week, sales department. Not the streams, but the sales. Like we were the 22nd biggest selling album in the whole country out of all music, from like Taylor Swift to like Trolls, world tour. We were one of the biggest records of the week when we dropped. So that was big,
Yeah. Well, I downloaded it today. So just so you know, hey, I downloaded the album. So there you go.
There's a little something for everybody. There's songs that some people hate, will hate. And those are the same songs that are people's favorite song on the album. Because I get really dirty and filthy and horrible on some songs. And then I get really sensitive and emo on other songs. And then I drop some knowledge. I get anti-government on the other songs. So there's a little array of everything for everybody. Some people love the whole package. But, some people get offended by opposite opinions and, this and that. But you should never stop having your opinion just because, because, you might lose fans because you think differently. I say what I want.
But you're still going to hold true to the roots, though. You're going to stay old school, kind of. Like you never wanted to kind of like go the route of some of these guys now with the pop stuff and kind of radio. You're not going to change who you are just so you can get on the radio is what I'm saying. Am I right? Am I right in saying that?
Nah. And usually when anybody tries to do that, their music is terrible.
Yeah.
When you hear them trying so hard, you're like, so you threw it all out the window. You threw your fan base out the windows.
Yeah, man. Because you know what I'm talking about. Because we ain't gonna mention names, but we know a lot of guys who came out hard and now they kind of.
Oh, come on, mention names. Come on.
We can't do that. We can't do that.
Here's the thing: is simplifying art helps move move a little more units, because even in my own music, when I do music, it's like I'll throw a simple bar in there and I'll go, that shouldn't even make it. But no, let it go, let it in there. And then when you go on tour, you got all these people quoting your most simple bars that almost didn't make the song, that you're above that bar in your head. But then you go, no, a lot of people, like the masses,
can relate
like
to it.
Simple, dumbed down stuff. But I can't do that to myself. I have to really be impressed by my own skill. So like if I wanted to do some dumbed down, one bars to like kind of like get people to grasp onto that bar, and I could write something like that all day, but it's
But you've always been lyrical though, man. You've been lyrical, and like right now, I think it's all about like to me, it's almost all about the beats now. It's not even about the lyrics anymore, because a lot of the stuff you hear on the radio is like ABC, kind of bubblegum choruses, is boom boom, it's like,
and it's the same issue with boxing, is the celebrity thing that happens, where who's a famous rapper, who's a famous person, who's somebody that's hot on their social media, and rather than the music, it's more about the famous celebrity personality and the crazy thing they're saying in the public, so that's a lot of it. And it's the same thing with boxing, where you see the biggest. Look at all the circus acts we get in boxing, because people want the names, and it might get canceled now because it's postponed. But like people were talking more about Roy Jones and Mike Tyson than actual real boxing matches of prime champions, and look at the pay-per-views on all the Floyd Mayweather circus acts, the damn Conor McGregors and all of this stuff. So it's like it's all about the celebrity name. So you're not watching Conor McGregor boxing for skill the same way you're not listening to some pop record for skill. You're listening because I heard of that. That's famous people, celebrities, So it's like we live in a celebrity culture. The same reason we have our presidents, Donald Trump, that's a celebrity. It's a celebrity culture. With the internet happening, that's what the world has become more than ever. So boxing, we have to deal with, Roy Jones and Tyson is the biggest match they talked about for 2 weeks straight. I'm like, could you guys stop asking me about this fucking thing? And then remember when Conor McGregor was happening, it was like, people were texting me and I wasn't even responding to their texts. Like, leave me alone about this.
Well, we were talking so much trash about that for weeks, and then once they started promoting it, we got sucked in, bro. We
totally did, man.
We got sucked in. They roped us in, bro.
Well, the thing is, though, if you have a podcast, you have to. Well, you don't have to, but if you have a podcast, that's what people are interested in talking about. You have to at least address it. You can't just ignore it. You have to go, well, I'm a boxing podcast and this is happening and this is the big celebrity event. So we all got to talk about it. So you can't hold that against you. But, it's look at the news. It's like, if you look at the news and the world events, it's all dumbed down headlines, gotcha clicks and stuff. So that's the same thing. You go to the news channel, you want to hear news, right? No, nobody wants to hear news. They want to hear more gossip, and same back to the Trump thing. That's why he got elected. They gave him $3 billion, $2 billion of free publicity, because every time they talked about him, the ratings skyrocketed through the roof, even when he talked bad about him. So that's how it happens, and that's the same reason why McGregor in a boxing ring got 3 million buys or 5 million buys. I don't even know how many people bought it, but you know what I mean?
A lot. I don't know how many.
Like 4 million. 4 million buys.
Yeah, and it's the same. Well, and look at Pacquiao, the Pacquiao fight. When Pacquiao and Mayweather fought, and everybody, the biggest fight since the Thriller Manila. These guys are like old ass men, and Pacquiao was like knocked out cold by Marquez. Yeah. And neither guy had knocked the guy out in a decade, except for I think Floyd had one knockout from Victor Ortiz, looking the other way or wataever. Everyone, is the fight since the Thriller minute. No, it's not. Are you guys freaking retarded? Like this wasn't even, that fight wasn't even Hearns versus Sugar Ray Leonard #2. I think Hearns and Leonard were younger in their rematch, and if you remember that, everyone was like, "Oh, why these old men doing a rematch? Nobody wants to see this fight anymore." It's but when they fought the first time, they both fought in their primes, in their late 20s, and that's what boxing used to give us, was like prime fighters fighting in their prime, where both are super threat to each other, and like I said, that damn circus act. And the other thing is that's turning me off of boxing now is all the steroids, you know. And I think I was naive when I was younger, you know. Holyfield, all of that stuff. You hear about it now, and you go like, "Yo, I was naive. Like, why did I sleep on that? Why did I not, think it was a big deal?" But then through the years, you start going, like, these guys are actually juiced up and one punch destroying people. And the Povetkin fight yesterday, or what was it, yesterday or the day before?
It was
yesterday, yeah.
I saw the highlight, and Povetkin is a super skilled, great fighter, gold medalist, amateur, had a really, really good pro career. You know, he lost like a big ass Klitschko beat him. But Povetkin was a good champion. I mean, a good fighter, great fighter. And so he has skills, but then when he was testing negative 2 times for steroids, and now he's 41, and he stops the guy with one punch and knocks him out cold, I can't say that he was on steroids, but now I lost the love.
You're gonna question him. You're gonna question him.
Yeah, I go like, yeah. So if he knocked him out with a steroid punch, do I care? Like if it was 10 years ago, I was like, yo, that's so amazing, so exciting, and he just got dropped 2 times. But now I'm like, I don't know, if somebody's juiced up and throws a hammer perfectly into your chin, uppercut, and you're knocked out, I'm just, And the same thing with the Crusher when you got, little Canelo going up to light heavyweight and one punch knocking out a light head. Get the heck out of here. Like, these motherfuckers are juiced out of their fucking ball up to their neck. I don't, that's what come on, the Crusher and Crusher, we know, Crusher was older. Crusher wasn't the Crusher no more. He had been knocked out by what's the guy, Alvarez, who got stopped last night by
Alito Alvarez,
yeah. He stopped Crusher, but and then Crusher had revenge, but whatever. We know it wasn't prime Crusher, but it was still a light heavyweight. And this dude was Canelo's going around the fucking ring like a ball, like he's been. And he was juiced up in the Golovkin fight, and then hamburgers, shut up, man. And then they protect you because you're the biggest fighter on the planet. So where was it for the Crusher fight? Was there a drug test?
They said there was.
I imagine there was, but who the thing is, like, they take this stuff and they cycle on and cycle off. And they're so advanced with it. Look at when Balco back in the day, when they had that, and Barry Bonds had that stuff, and then Shane Mosley was in there, and
what's
you
the
couldn't
guy's
detect
name? Victor Conte.
Victor Conte, yeah, Victor
He
Conte.
was good on Twitter for a while because, like, since he got exposed and got caught with all of that shit, then he would go on Twitter and he was like a professional at it, and he was calling out all these athletes like that. He's definitely juicing. He's juicing. He's not. He is like damn, like he'd watch a fight and be like, I'd question that guy, and you'd be like, I guess Victor Conte would fucking know,
Yeah, right. I mean, if he doesn't know, who knows,
Yeah. Like, he could guess better than me, you, and you if somebody's on juice. I'd like to ask Victor Conte, is Canelo the superstar juice head? Please let us know.
So now that it's all said and done, we all know that incident back in 2009 with Mayweather, and that was epic. I mean, I've watched that 1,000 times.
The Shade 45, the Shade 45.
Seemed like you had that shit. Like, it's almost like a battle rap. You have those stored rhymes.
No, I did not. In fact, I don't even know how that freaking happened. Like, I didn't know I was interviewing him. That wasn't set up.
No, I'm not saying it was set up.
Yeah, no, I had no idea.
I know it wasn't a setup, but I'm saying is,
happened. I went up there to promote like a compilation album I was dropping. And then they say, hey, what do you think about Mayweather? I said, Mayweather's the most gifted probably out there, but he doesn't, fight the guy his own size. He picks and chooses his fights right now. And, if you're going to be in a weight class, you got to fight the best in the weight class. And then I guess he was listening, or one of his friends, somebody was listening and called him, or Floyd calls up like, hey, it's Floyd, what's up? And I guess he expected us to be like, hey, Floyd, how you doing? And I was like, yo, when you gonna fight somebody in your own weight division, your own size?
That was the first thing he said. That was the first thing you said to him.
No, but what I'm saying is, it seemed like those are the things you had in your head that you wanted to say to this dude. Like, if you ever was gonna talk to this dude, like if you ever like met him, it seemed like you had in your head that you were gonna let him know how you felt.
People don't know this, but I knew a lot of these fighters because I
read up on this. I
was writing for Vibe and Source and a lot of urban magazines. So the publicists would call me and say, hey, can you get this person in this magazine, or can you get us to some kind of press? So I'd get, Bernard Hopkins in like 8 or 9 urban magazines. I got Floyd in like 4 or 5 urban magazines. I got I got everybody. Winky Wright when he was hot. I got the Klitschko's up the hot.
Yeah, I remember.
But so I was with Floyd a couple times, and one time we were having a brunch or whatever, at a press conference. It was like me, Floyd, the publicist, a couple people. This was before the phone call, and I said, "Yo, this was before Margarito got busted for the gloves and everything." I said, "Margarito would give you trouble, I think." I said, "Why don't you fight him?" And I said, "A friendly, And he was like, "Who's that? Who's that? I don't know who that is."
No, yeah.
And I said, "Well,
he always does that."
I said he's a. I said he's kind of like a bigger version of Castillo, but throws more punches. And he's like, "Yo," and he didn't like me after that.
But he never did fight Margarito. He never did fight Paul Williams.
Margarito.
But he did fight Mosley, fought Cotto. Did end up fighting Pacquiao.
Could we argue though?
But he fought Pacquiao a million years late. That was
he had to wait till him to get knocked out.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is I'm from an old school mentality of boxing where like Hopkins had it, where like he would go fight a 3 to 4 to 1 favorite. He would try to prove where Floyd was smarter as a businessman. And 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when we had the conversation, you go like, "Yo, just prove your greatness, But Floyd had it down pat. He knew, I'm a name, you fight the biggest reward with the smallest
risk.
And that's what he told Broner. Broner said that's what he told everybody in the stable. And that's a smarter mentality than I had. I had like the old school days where let's fight everybody. If it's number one, you fight him. If you could beat Paul Williams, this long, lanky motherfucker, get in the ring and beat him, But and he's true. Margarito, who's Margarito to him when he could fight
Baldomir. He fought when he fought.
Did you hear what happened to Baldomir though?
Yes.
Something like that. Something disgusting.
Molesting the kids.
Terrible.
Molested his daughter.
That was his own daughter. Yeah, that's what it was.
That was his daughter. Right? Yeah, man. I was shocked.
Fuck, I had no idea, man.
I was shocked when I heard that.
Out of nowhere, yeah. But okay, so Baldomir had just beat Zab Judah. And on a big HBO card, I think it was HBO card.
It was an HBO card.
It was some big card.
It was HBO, yeah.
So Baldomir's obviously, what do you have, 15 losses, 14 losses?
Yeah, he had a lot of losses.
So who do you fight? This guy Baldomir, who has a belt, who just beat Zab in a high-profile upset, or Margarito, who's like annihilating people and throwing 1,500 fights in wars, So he got more money to fight Baldomir, So he was doing business moves. So that's not. I don't rank him in the top 30 or 40. I don't. But a lot of people take him for his skill level and say, yeah, of course he's one of the best skilled ever. But I that's not how I rank people. You know what I mean? Like I rank people who took these big risks, and then there's times where he'll go like, oh, I'm better than Muhammad Ali because he lost, or better, but like. You don't have a Sonny Liston on your record. You don't have a George Foreman on your record. You don't have a Joe Frazier on your record. You don't have these guys on your record. Muhammad Ali's record of the greatest fighters of the greatest era. You don't have that. So, and you never shook up the world, and you never took that risk. And people was like, like the kind of things like a fighter from back in the day would have did. They would have went up and fought Golovkin. Like if they're saying I'm the greatest that ever lived, I'm the best era ever. But Mayweather fans would be, and I'm not saying he should have. But I'm saying that's what they would have did in that era. Sugar Ray Robinson stepped up with the middleweight, and that's he was fighting these Jake LaMotta sized monster goons from hell. That's what Sugar Ray Robinson would do. But he even went up to Joey Maxim in the hot sun and tried to fight. You know what I mean? So if you're the best ever, you're gonna take these risks and go in there and make Golovkin look like a fool. Go ahead. And everyone's like, why would he do that? That's not the right size. But meanwhile, but I feel bad for Golovkin too, though. You know why I feel bad for Golovkin? Because he was so feared, and so it was this era where you're allowed to get away with not fighting the big threat or the scary guy. And Martinez didn't fight him. He would have beat Martinez at that point, and he would have got a brutal knockout over Martinez at that point. Yeah. Cotto didn't fight him. He would have beat Cotto. Back then, Alvarez, if Canelo fought him back then, he would have knocked Alvarez out. He would have beat all these guys, but he never got the opportunity. So now in his record, they look at his old man era when he was like in his 30s and slower and getting hit and not really. So a lot of people go, well, that's Golovkin never fought anybody, but he was campaigning. He wanted to fight everybody, but nobody would fight him. So now he's past his prime. He got ripped off on the first Canelo fight. Then the second one, he got ripped off again. Some people say it could have went either way, but
I thought he won both fights.
Yeah, most people do, but except for the fanboys. But so now it's that's his legacy, is he never got to beat the big name. He never got in the ring with the big name till he was in his slow down stage, So that sucks for some fighters,
So do you think when people go back and look at Floyd Mayweather's career, they're going to see the Shane Mosley on there, they're going to see the Cotto, they're going to see the Pacquiao, they're going to see the names on there,
Well, that's what he does. He picked the name. That's the thing. The biggest name, highest reward, with the least.
So you think there's that? You think there should be like quote unquote asterisks next to those victories? You think
because,
people?
But I think that's what everybody does. They always do it. Like even a guy like me and you, when we were younger, studying we go to the boxing list and go like, oh, he beat this guy, and you look for all the famous people on it, but you don't know, like, oh, that's that guy when he just got knocked out 5 times in a row, oh, he beat who's the guy that killed Benny Kid Paret? Jesus Christ, the famous guy from Hell's Kitchen. He was the gay fighter, and he was in a closet, and then he killed.
I'm trying to remember who that guy is.
This is what my brain's so.
Bobo Olsen?
Nah. This is one of the greatest fighters. He's a super great fighter. He fought Sugar Ray Robinson. He fought everybody. He's a legend. But whoever's watching this is going to be like, these guys don't know boxing for shit. He's like a really, really famous fighter, and he was living in Brooklyn. He was at Gleason's a lot. I don't know if he was living in Brooklyn, but he passed away not long ago. But you look for the record.
Not Ruben Carter. You're not thinking of Ruben Carter, are you?
No. I actually think he lost to Ruben Carter in a fight.
That's what I'm saying.
That he shouldn't have lost. Hold up. I'm going to Google. I'm going to cheat right now.
Emil Griffith?
Yeah, Emil Griffith.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with me?
Thank you, D-Style.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, like I said, he's one of the most famous fighters ever. And I'm like, and I met him before. I interviewed him before.
Wow.
I met his partner or son, his adopted son partner guy. But yeah, I couldn't think of it. No, but what I'm saying, you go through the records of these guys and look for the famous names that you recognize. Like, he beat him. But you're not really looking at the, until you get older, then you go, no, you got to look at where that fighter was, when the fight happened, because if you want to go there, Kevin McBride knocked out Mike Tyson, Tyson knocked out Larry Holmes, Larry Holmes beat Muhammad Ali, that's how it is,
Timing's everything, yeah.
So yeah.
It's crazy. Let's switch gears here. Real quick, I just want to know, so some of the guys that you've worked with, and just going back to the music industry here for a minute, you've worked with Chuck D. You've worked kind of like with a who's who, correct? And I mean, you've also
worked with I'm like the Kevin Bacon of hip hop. They're like, you can link any rapper to me, no matter who it is. You can somehow name a rapper, and you can link that rapper to me.
So Notorious B.I.G., you've worked with him?
Yeah. Well, he was a friend of mine. We were young kids together, So
oh wow.
He passed away at 24. So we was teenagers together, and up and coming in the rap game together, and he became one of the most legendary, iconic figures in the history of rap music, So
yeah, that's insane. I read that. I was like, what? I was like, no way. I mean, because he's like you read it and you read like one of the most famous guys, period. And to know that you work with him and everything like that, it's insane.
Well, what's crazy, come to think of it, I just thought of it now, is he's almost been dead as long as he's been alive. He died at 24, he died in 1997. That's 23 years ago. So he's almost at the age next year he'll be dead longer than he lived. You know,
That's like
How
us,
could it be
Eric.
possible? You know, I mean, it seems like it's just like yesterday when you know what I mean? You remember it?
and we
You know-
these guys are on such pedestals and they're such icons that
Yeah.
we don't realize that they were babies.
Did you ever see that movie, Gang Related, with Tupac and James Belushi? I was watching that the other day, and I was like thinking, shit, man, this is like sad because Tupac was a really good actor, man. Oh my God, he was like, he had so much going for him right at that time.
Yeah, the
'Cause that
girls
movie-
loved him. The kids wanted to be like him in the street. He was a music, platinum records, big movies.
Yeah. Everything he
yeah,
touched, man. Everything he touched, he did something with it.
I like that movie he made with Mickey Rourke called Bullet. You ever watch that one?
Yeah, that was good too, man. He was a really good actor, man. I'm telling you. Like I thought he was good.
You see Mickey Rourke whenever if somebody talks smack about Tupac, Mickey Rourke's like, I'll fight him. Like Mickey Rourke's like Tupac's, bodies like bodyguard from whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. But
Anybody that met him, man.
Want to fight somebody who did Mickey Rourke want to fight the other day?
De Niro, wasn't it? Wasn't it De Niro?
He wanted to beat up De Niro, but there was someone else he wanted to beat up too.
Somebody else?
There was somebody. Yeah, he wanted to beat up De Niro. He was starting to fight with De Niro, but wasn't there someone threatening to fight somebody? And then Mickey Rourke was like, "Yo, I'll come and fight you instead." He's always trying to fight somebody on Instagram.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, he's nuts.
I wouldn't mess with Mickey Rourke though. He used to box. He was a professional boxer, so he can handle himself, man.
He hangs out at the wild card a lot too.
Yeah, I remember he fought not long ago, a couple 10 years ago, maybe around.
He's got a couple fights.
Yeah.
And, somebody said that the fight was fixed or something. There was some controversy.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You remember, a fight I saw at the Garden? It turned out that some of his fights were fixed. They said there was a white kid from Queens called Richie Melito. You remember that?
No.
He fought on the Larry Holmes undercard when Larry Holmes fought Maurice Harris. Remember the young guy Maurice Harris?
Yeah. Maurice Harris.
He was like the best fighter with the worst record. Like nobody with 8-8 could fight as good as this kid. Yeah,
he was good. He was good.
Great fights, but but Maurice Harris fought Larry Holmes, and then the undercard was Smoking Bert Cooper, who died last year. Rest in peace. Smoking Bert, who fought Holyfield. He fought everyone.
He was good, man. He was really good.
Hurt in that fight too, man.
Smoking Bert almost took him out for a second, but Holyfield got that heart. But Richie Melito. Supposedly the mob was working with him or something, and was paying. Fixing some of the fights.
I heard of that dude.
But Bert Cooper, I guess he wasn't in on it, and he came out and knocked. They were like the future legend and the legend. That was what the card was being billed at. Larry Holmes and this guy Richie Melito from Queens, and Smoking Bert came in there and knocked him out in the first round. And all of Melito's fans were there, and me and my boy was screaming for Bert Cooper. Everybody wanted to fight us. Our boy just got knocked out in one round,
You hear a lot of stories like that, and they're all like, they're like, I don't hear anything about that like recently or anything like that, but you do hear a lot of like mob-related stuff, like fight fixing and everything like that, and it always stems from like New York. You always hear about it in MSG, but and now whether it's true or not, who knows? But you hear enough stories that it's like, maybe.
And well, look at some of the judging on some of these fights. You go, it's probably not mob, but there's definitely some handshaking going on in the game. Take this out of my palm.
And that's what they say, because really, I mean, like if for like a bigger fight, you're not going to be able to pay the fighter off because the fighter's going to make more money somewhere else if he wins. But you could pay the judges off because they get for a championship fight, like a big time fight, 1,000 or 1,500 or something crazy.
Look at what Don King used to do. He used to take the judges out to dinner and stuff. Like, I mean, obviously, you can influence people. Well,
what about what did Don King do for Richard Steele? Because he had Richard Steele in his pocket for a lot of those fights, man.
Oh, I know. I remember that.
He was a good ref till Don King got him.
Did you guys hear the story about Don King in the jury? So, like when Don King was on trial, after the jury acquitted him, he sent them all to Hawaii.
Oh, for the murder charge?
He sent them all to Hawaii after Don. No, this was after the murder charge. Because that was like real early That was like real early, that murder charge.
Yeah.
But it was some kind of, I don't know if I don't know what the charge was, but there was, he said to something like Chris Rock's show on HBO, like back in the day, that he says, well, yeah, they've done their job and they deserve to get compensated for it. So if he ever went back on and had a jury, that was in their mind, they're going to Hawaii if they let this guy go.
Terrible man, but he's the man, you know. Did you guys see Donald Trump mess up Larry Holmes' name the other day?
Oh,
no.
It was terrible, man, because Larry never gets enough love. And the president of the United States, even if we hate him, whatever, he was in Pennsylvania, and he said, yeah, and how about that Ernie Holmes? What a great fighter.
He was in Pennsylvania when he did this.
Trump called him Ernie Holmes, and he said,
wow.
He said, you know, when he was he gave Muhammad Ali the toughest fight he ever had in his career. And wow, what a good fighter. And people in the crowd was like, Larry Holmes.
Of all people, he, you know, I mean, of all people like Trump, who's involved in boxing and everything like that, should not have screwed that up.
Holmes missed him on Twitter. Twitter's crazy. Larry Holmes was like, yo, you're not my friend. And you ain't remember my name. You remember my name fine when we did this or some shit. He's like, but we ain't family, we ain't friends or something like that.
Wow.
Basically saying, keep my name out your mouth or something. Yeah.
Nobody wants to be attached to Trump, man. It's like
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like crazy, man.
Yeah. I'll
So-
tell you what.
So what do you think of boxing now, though? Because like people talk about how it's not mainstream, but it's on more channels now than it ever was. You know, you got the big ESPN deal, you got the Fox deal. It's digital now with the Zone. You got ESPN Plus. You think boxing's going in the right direction? Do you think boxing is just as big now, or it's getting bigger than it was maybe say 10 years ago?
Maybe 10 years ago, because, you know, like boxing's whole history, we have those ups and downs.
Yeah, it's cyclical.
And you know, you could read headlines from 100 years ago. They're like, boxing's dead. Boxing's a dying sport, you know, and then 50, boxing's a dying, boxing's dead. There's always a time when if it's not as hot as something else, oh, it's dead. But, you know, it's a sport. It's a brutal sport that the world loves. You know, it'll always... You know, if the marketing's right, it'll always have the comebacks. You know what I mean? The Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder fight was huge. There's, you know, it just needs a couple superstars. And, you know, America, we're kind of trendy sometimes where like, oh, UFC's the new hot thing. I like MMA, you know? Yeah. So we get a little trendy sometimes. But, man, just a couple years back, what was it, 5, 10? I don't remember how many, 5 years ago, Arthur Abraham, you remember him, right?
Yeah, Super Six, yeah.
Yeah, from the Super Six, and you know he was favored to do very well in that, but he lost. He was
the favorite early on, yeah. Then Andre Ward came out of nowhere.
Yep, but Abraham was a threatening good fighter, you know. But I went to a fight of his in Berlin, and it was like past his prime, you know. He wasn't the name anymore like that. But and he was fighting a local guy, and there was like 20-something thousand people in the arena, maybe the minimum 10 or 15, but it was like a packed arena for Arthur Abraham. So worldwide, and like I said, when I went to Japan, I think it was November to fight, 20,000 people and packing out the arena, big, huge event. So worldwide, boxing is still enormous. So sometimes I think they were looking at like Andre Ward was the pound for pound, one of the number one guys or something, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 1. You know, it was always arguable. He's a top guy, and he'd fight in his hometown. And how many people come out? Like 6,000. You know, like. So I think they were looking at. Yeah. Sometimes there'd be a big fight, and it'd be like 3,400 people coming. You know, so I think America started thinking like, it's dead here, because you know you go through dry spells. It's like pussy. You know, like once you start, you know. You're getting a lot of girls. You're flooded. You know, when you're sitting home and you can't get laid, you're like, how do I get pussy? You know, it's like it's dry spells. You know, bad analogy again. I'm sorry, everybody, but you know what I mean. It's like, you know, the box office. Sometimes you get a year where movies aren't doing well. Does that mean movies are dead and they're not going to come back? No, it just means it's a shitty year for movies. You know, so you know, and I think with UFC and all these other styles and the younger kids. Plus, that's another thing why boxing was falling off a little bit in the States, because we didn't have an American hero. You know, we didn't have somebody that everybody talked about and looked up to. You know, we had like I guess if you go there, we had Pacquiao, but he was an American. He was foreign, and then you had Floyd, who wasn't really liked. Like nobody really wanted to be like Floyd. Floyd wasn't like he was like people watched his fights because the celebrity thing, but he wasn't like a liked person. Nobody like wants to meet Floyd today. Nobody cares like Floyd. You know, it's like. But if you take it back to the 70s, the whole world, whether they loved him or hate him, you know, Muhammad Ali was magical. So there was kids all over the freaking streets that wanted to be Muhammad Ali.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard. They wanted to go to the gym. They wanted to be the next Sugar Ray Leonard. They wanted to be the next Muhammad Ali. And boxing always had that. If you go back to the 20s, you know, Jack Dempsey. Everybody wanted to be Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey. You know, the kids grew up watching, you know, this legend Jack Dempsey, and the 40s, you know, Joe Louis. Everybody wanted to be Joe Louis. So I think the 2010s and late 2000s, there wasn't too many American heroes for the kids in America to want to be like, you know, or they weren't marketed well. And then pay-per-view was fucking up everything. Now they're, like you said, putting it on the TV and it's being on more things. But there was a time like if you wanted to watch any up-and-coming fighter, as soon as they got even a little name, you'd have to pay $40 on pay-per-view to watch them fight a shitbag. And it was like, yo, that's not how you build up. You know, back in the 70s, they put it on national television. It was the biggest event of the whole week for everybody. So little kids were in the house with their fathers. And, you know, when I'm a kid, I remember Duran versus Sugar Ray. And, you know, like it was a big deal, you know. And I remember going to high school and Cooney versus Larry Holmes, the teacher would be talking about it. And the kids would be like, these were big events back then.
One.
So, you know, I remember we had some catching up to do if we're ever going to be back. And like, you know, look at the Ali Frazier first fight. Frank Sinatra was the photographer taking the pictures front row just to get there, you know, like, so yeah, we got a lot of catching up to do. Oscar De La Hoya was that guy for a quick minute, you know, where all the celebrities wanted to watch Oscar and Oscar, but you know, then he was doing partying and he fell off and wasn't winning the big fights and you know, didn't exist anymore. But Oscar was the golden boy. He was almost it for a second, but you know, and then that Trinidad fight, the first loss, when, you know, a lot of people think he might have won it, but like I remember watching it live and I'm like, did he break his hand? Is his face fractured? Why is he running?
Just
like,
stop fighting.
He stopped fighting, but you're supposed to do that maybe in the last round. But
right,
literally after the 7th round, he went out.
I had that fight a draw. I really had that fight a draw.
I didn't think Oscar deserved to win it. People act like it's a robbery, but he literally, I never seen something like he just started running away the whole fight. And you know, it's funny. I say to people sometimes, I'm like, Oscar's like could have been one of the top 20 best 8-round fighters ever. You know, like
yeah, he faded.
I mean, even Floyd, if it was an 8-round fight, he probably would have won that fight, but he can't go after 8 rounds. Something with him. Maybe it was the blows and blowing the hookers, whatever it was. I don't know what it was, but something.
Zab Judah, same thing.
He was partying.
Zab Judah, the same thing. Like he wasn't the same fighter after 6 rounds either. He would fade. Yeah. Remember how he had a great fight against Floyd the first 6 rounds. He just fucking.
I think Zab is mental. Something
psychological. Like some guys, they get mentally defeated and they say to themselves, am I going to run out of gas if I give it my all? Am I going to have anything left at the end? So that's why they kind of
overthinking a little. There's something late in his mid-career where it was like, or maybe, you know, he had that chin where maybe he gets clipped with a couple things and then he gets a little nervous. Like
maybe that cost Yazoo fight. Maybe that cost Yazoo fight stayed in his head. You know what I'm saying?
He said the hardest he ever got hit was Mickey Ward to the body. He said when Mickey he beat Mickey, but he said when Mickey hit him, he was like, oh my God. But yeah, that cost Yazoo fight. They were hyping Zab up. They gave him the 7-page spread in Sports Illustrated. He was the next guy.
Yeah, he was supposed to win that fight, man.
Cost Yazoo slept on too, you know. And you know what performances slept on is the I know, you know, maybe he was a little older, whatever, but you know, the way Ricky Hatton dominated. That's another one like the damn Sergio Martinez versus Cotto. When Hatton ran through Costa. That's another one in my head where I still can't accept it. Like,
he ran through Castillo too. He ran through Castillo too.
Yeah, but that was Castillo was older.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So timing's everything, man. In this game.
But at the time, Costa, it is timing. But at the time, Costa had been undefeated since hadn't lost a fight, I think, since the Vince Phillips fight or whatever. Like he had a long, and he was a pound for pound guy at the time. Yeah, slowing up. He caught him at the right time, but like, you know, similar to Tyson Fury and Klitschko. Klitschko dominated him, and yeah, it might have been the right time, but I don't know. The style that Tyson has, it almost feels like he could have beat him at any time in his career, but you can't say that when it's not in the prime of their career, you know?
Exactly.
But you got to understand, when Tyson beat Klitschko hadn't lost a fight in 11 years.
And Klitschko never lost a fight by decision except the Tyson Fury. He'd been knocked out.
Too. What was questionable with Klitschko was his chin. At the time when he was getting knocked out. So Brewster knocked him out in the shock.
Ross Purity.
Oh yeah, holy shit!
That was sick. Yeah.
But
you know Lamont Brewster's blind now in one eye.
I heard about that. Man.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, he was a warrior, man. He was a warrior, you know. You know what fight I won a lot of money on was Brewster when he fought Galata. Like, I was like, yo, man, never bet on Galata with a title. Like, he'll lose.
Unpredictable. Unpredictable, man.
Yeah, but it was at that point I'm like, yo, I think I put a lot on. I said, Brewster's gonna. It was the Brewster fight, right? Brewster fought Galata, right? At that time, remember that? So. Yeah, I remember, and he ran through him. But I remember there's one of them fights with Galata. I think it was like a guy who was a lesser name than Galata, but was like obviously closer to the prime. Yeah. Let me go. I'm gonna cheat right now again. Brewster. Galata, but I remember winning a lot of money on that particular fight. Yeah. What's the date on it? I don't know. I can't find a date on it, but yeah.
Galata was always one of those guys that were great when nothing was on the line. He was great, you know. But when you put him with the title, you put him in a big fight, and he just melts down. I don't understand it. It's got to be a mental thing, man.
I remember when he quit against Tyson and they were throwing shit at him.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 2005. Yeah, that was 15 years ago. Yeah. Galata was a lot of fun to watch though when he didn't have a meltdown. Yeah, he would have beat Michael Grant, and then he did that weird thing again. He quit all the time, and Bo was in his prime, and he
beat him twice. I mean, he beat him twice. He really did. He beat him in the second fight too. Yeah. Well, the
second fight,
Bo did better. Yeah, but he didn't. He wasn't winning.
Bo overtrained too. Like I think he was
skinny that second fight. He had lost a lot of weight.
All fucked up. I was like, when he walked in, I'm like, he's gonna get knocked out probably. Like he trained poorly for that. Like he overtrained for that fight.
Yeah,
destroyed him.
Thomas Adamek knocked out Galata too.
Yeah, later in his career. Adamek was a good fighter too. I like that.
Yeah, he was small. He was kind of small, but he was good. He could box. He could box. He was a cruiserweight champ.
Yep. I like all of those guys too. I like. You know what fight I love was James Toney versus Jirov. Remember that one?
That was a good one. Yeah, that was a real good one.
I was happy for Toney that fight. He looked tremendous too, man. He looked great.
James Toney was always tough to beat, man. He was just, his defense was so amazing. It really was.
When he went up to light heavyweight though, man, he had a tough time at it, man. He lost 2 fights to Montel Griffin, man. It was just that was like his worst.
Yeah, and who was the guy that they robbed? The guy that retired from boxing, Drake Dazake.
Drake Dazzy.
Yeah, I can't say his name, but there was the white.
Drake Dazzy. Yeah, he's from my area, man.
Yeah, and they gave it to Toney, and the guy ran out of body. He quit. He's like, I'm done with this.
You know what that guy did? You know what that guy did for a living? He was a grave digger.
Wow.
Yeah, he's from Massachusetts. That guy, Drake Dazzy. Yeah, he's from my area.
Wow. Yeah, Toney was in his prime to that, and that guy.
Petronelli's trained that dude, man. He trained Petronelli's.
Wow.
Didn't James Tiberi, wasn't that there was like another
one, but Drake Dazzy too. It was 2 of them. James Toney, he got
a couple nods.
Got a couple of them
the other way. Yeah.
Did Tiberi fight?
The Tiberi fight, that was a bad call, man.
That was at middleweight, the Tiberi fight. But James Toney, he was struggling making that weight limit too, though. So
Michael Nunn just got out of jail.
He fought.
Oh yeah, he fought in a kickboxing match. Though.
He fought and he lost. He lost to Pat Miletich.
No, he won the fight. I thought.
No, Miletich won.
No.
Did he really?
I thought he did. Yeah.
Did he fight maybe more than once?
Let me see here.
I think he went down, but he won the decision.
I thought he won.
Yeah,
Miletich won here. Hang on.
Yeah, I thought he won that fight.
I think Michael Nunn won the kickboxing fight.
Let's see here.
He went to jail for how many years for selling drugs, though?
Pat Miletich edged out Michael Nunn in the Clash of the Legends split decision verdict. The judges scored their 4-round bout 37-39, 37-39 the other way, and 40-36 in favor of, let's see here, Pat Miletich. Oh, edged out by Michael Nunn. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, okay. You made me feel like I was punch drunk or something.
I'm like,
I heard Michael Nunn won too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But it said like edged out. I was like, Pat Miletich edged out. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, after
I didn't see the fight, so
after sitting in the cell for that many years, no matter what are you gonna do? What's crazy? Remember Ike Ibeabuchi was like the sickest heavyweight.
Wow, yeah.
And then he like kidnapped a lady and I think there was a rape charge and kidnapping and there was a child, right? Wasn't the woman's child with him?
Something.
He got out of jail and was supposed to make a comeback, and then he kind of just disappeared. He was mentally unstable, though, supposedly. Well, obviously, look what they charged him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I honestly think. I mean, it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I think Ibeabuchi would have ran through Lennox Lewis. I know that's unpopular, but he threw 1,400 punches and took against Tua, went to war with Tua. So the way Lewis fought Tua was keeping his distance. Don't go to war with Tua because he hits too hard.
Yeah.
So this guy was able to take everything that David Tua had, punch, and he walked through it, and then you get the slick, awkward boxer, and he knocks out undefeated Chris Bird, who nobody could lay a glove on. So, these were two undefeated guys that he went in there and just was able to boom, defeat in both styles. So I really think a guy like Lennox Lewis, he would have, put it in, jab, and Bucci, I think Bucci had a good shot at knocking Lennox Lewis out. I said it at the time, but then he went to jail for rape. I was like, I guess I'll never find out,
You know who was
not a laughing matter? What the fuck am I laughing at? But you know what I mean. But,
You guys remember Tony Ayala? Back in
the rapist, another rapist, man.
It was another one. He got called for rape, but I thought he was a middleweight at the time, and back then, I thought he was the guy. I thought he was the next guy.
A lot of people did. He was supposed to fight Salvador Sanchez before he got killed, right? And then he was going to fight. Was it Sugar Ray Leonard or Duran? No, he was going to fight Duran. Right, he was going to fight Duran
junior middleweight.
Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry about the mistake. Yeah,
but I tell you what, man. Yeah, he got put away for the rape charge or whatever, and he came back. And once he got out, he tried to make a little bit of a comeback. I think he was
he lost to Yuri Boy Campus.
Yeah, and
he caught another rape charge.
He never got out of his own way. I mean,
another rape charge, or was it robbery charge, or breaking an entrance?
No, it was another charge. I don't know if it was rape, but he
was charged again. Yeah,
charged again with something.
Did he commit suicide or die of drugs?
I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tony Ayala.
I know he died some way. Yeah.
He should. Let's see here. Hey, he died back in 2015.
Yeah, we shouldn't be allowed to do Google. It's kind of cheating. And shit.
It is kind of cheating, but that's all right. Hey, it is what it is.
We're supposed to have this stuff all in our head like back in the day.
Of course, yeah, because we're all computers. We're all machines. Overdose at the Zamora Street Gym.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
some of this shit,
he quit on his stool. He quit on his stool against Yuri Boy Campus. He said he broke his hand and he wouldn't come out. Campus
could bang. I mean, Campus was a good fighter. I mean, and that was probably the best fighter that Ayala fought pre-jail and post-jail. That was probably the best guy he had fought.
This is like stuff that we know, but it's not fresh in our heads and stuff.
Right.
Then like an hour later we remember it and shit. Like, oh yeah.
After the show is over, it all comes back, you know.
I was like, I won so much money on that fight. Let me Google it and make sure that fight really happens. Like, fuck, you wouldn't fight money on a fight and have to Google it. Yeah, that's what happens when you get old, right?
Get old, you can't remember everything, man. I'm 50,
that's how it is, man.
Be 51 this year, man. I can't remember everything like I used to.
That's why I just tweeted just before this thing happened. I said, you know how they have an age thing? You got to be 35 to be the president of the United States.
Yeah.
President without being 35. I said, I think they should change that. Or if they're going to do that, put a cap on it. When you hit a certain age, you can't be president no more because you forget everything. You're fucking retarded.
How can Biden
and Trump? I mean, look at those two guys. I mean, you know,
a 77-year-old decrepit old memory lost dude and a 74-year-old out of touch memory. Like, if we could have them, why can't we have a 29-year-old or a 31-year-old? Somebody, like, if you're hiring for a job, who are you gonna fucking hire? The 77-year-old that can't remember shit, or like a young, smart, hungry 31-year-old?
These are the two best guys. These are the two best guys they got. These are the two best guys they got. It's a good thing you moved to Germany, man. Trust me. You got it set over there.
Oh Lord,
insane. So, okay, you're a hip hop guy. You're a hip hop guy. You know rap pretty well. Beeb, you've been known to do a little rap here and there.
Oh, you're a rapper?
I used to bust. Not really, man. I used to
Give
bust
him a freestyle, Beeb. It's gonna be like an American Idol thing.
I can't do it in front of him, man. I can't do it in front of him, man.
Yo, you saw there's a new controversy today. Was the Yusuf Hawkins thing came out. Remember, you're a New Yorker, right? You sound like a New Yorker.
I'm from Boston.
Okay. Are you a New Yorker? Where you from?
I'm from Cincinnati. Yeah,
I'm from Ohio. I'm from Boston. You know the almighty RSO. Remember them?
Yeah. With
Orange Man. Remember Orange Man? You know Orange?
And everything.
You know Orange Man?
I don't know him personally. Yeah.
You heard of him? Yeah.
Who's the guy that ran the Source? He just battled that OG on Instagram.
Oh fuck.
My brain's so fried, but he's famous. He I don't know. This whole podcast is us with brain damage.
I know. Shit's because we're going back too far.
Yeah.
But he's a ginseng or something.
Benzino's.
Benzino, but yeah. Okay, Benzino. Yeah, he's from here too.
No, but there's a controversy in New York right now because HBO or Netflix, has a documentary on the murder of Yusuf Hawkins. Remember that case? It was in Brooklyn. A bunch of Italians murdered this black kid in Brooklyn, right?
Okay.
So one of the kids that got off because like the cops didn't read him his rights or something, it just came out that the kid that was helped kill Yusuf Hawkins was worked at Hot 97, the hottest hip hop station.
Yeah, Hot 97,
decades.
Ebro in the morning.
He's been working there for 25 years, getting paid off of black culture. Meanwhile, he's responsible for the death of Yusuf Hawkins. So, everybody's going crazy today on the internet. Like, what the fuck? There's always something each day, but that's the hip hop. What
do you like better, Hot 97 or Power 105? Which one you like better?
I don't listen to the radio. None of them play the shit I listen to anyway. I like 98.7 KISS and I like WBLS. Those were my stations. They started it with the Rap Attack, and one had Mr. Magic, and one had Red Alert. So.
That's back in the day, man. Way back in the day. So
what do you rap about?
No, he seen me. He heard me do a couple freestyles before. I just fuck around. I'm nothing, man.
Yeah.
He plays around.
Fun. Yeah. So what up?
I'm kind of like old school. I like the old school stuff too. You know what I mean? I like the old school stuff.
Is there any other fights coming up? Anything we should be looking forward to?
The biggest fight, I tell you what, the biggest fight right now is probably the Tyson Jones fight.
That's going to be the biggest fight of the year.
But that will be the biggest fight of the year. Yeah.
But I like
the Loma. You talk about the Loma and Teofimo fight. That's going to be the fight.
Fight's going to be the best fight though. Yeah. To watch. But Bob, I interviewed Bob a couple of weeks ago, and he said he's still trying to put Fury versus Wilder still trying to get it done for December if he can, but he's saying he really wants to have it in front of a live crowd because in order to pay these guys the purses that they need, they're going to need that live gate money. He was saying.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
No big fights. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be no like mega fights.
But the best fight in terms of entertainment value, I think, is going to be the Lomachenko one. But Tyson Jones is probably going to do like maybe $1.5 million, maybe 2 million pay-per-view buys.
How crazy is that? And they just sanctioned it. It's no longer an exhibition. They just sanctioned it. So it's not
an 8-round fight anymore, or it's still an
8-round
fight, but now like they're saying they're gonna score it. There's no headgear
for a belt. There's no headgear. So they're actually gonna. Sounds like they're gonna go at it.
I heard that Roy Jones was trying to say he's not into it because it's postponed. He might try to get out of it.
Well, he's looking for more money. Yeah.
Well, what they want him to do, what he wants them to do is like, because he had like stuff lined up. And now he had to move it around and stuff. So now he wants them to compensate him for like all that stuff like that he had planned that he can't do now.
He's a Russian citizen now, right?
He's got dual citizenship. Yeah,
absolutely.
Wow. Yo, Roy Jones and Edward Snowden is sitting around the table eating dinner.
Him and Putin. They showed him and Vladimir Putin together. You were watching the fights.
Oh God! Now we're gonna get in. Aren't we all supposed to be afraid of Russia?
Yeah, remember back in the '80s when it was back in the '80s when they go, everybody hated Russia and Russia hated us.
It's like Rocky IV. It's like Rocky IV all over again.
Exactly.
Or the '50s. It's like they keep. Like, when are we gonna learn? It's like anytime they give us a narrative, we all get scared by it. I got friends now like China's gonna get us. China's the worst. It's like, yeah, China's your enemy. Why? How's your life changing day by day because of China? You didn't care about China a month ago. You only care now because they're telling you to care about China. Just like, remember when Obama and Romney were having a debate and Romney was like, Russia's our biggest threat, and everyone just laughed at it. Like, shut the fuck up about Russia. And then all of a sudden it's like, Russia is our threat. Russia. Like, what? Like, come on, man. I go to Russia, man. The women are beautiful. The people are great. It's a cool place.
Germany's cool. I was in Germany when I was in the army, man. They love Americans over there, man.
Yeah, Germany's great. It's the thing is, if you live there, they're a little strict, though.
I was there in the 90s, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a fun place, good culture, good partying, good, and the women are beautiful. The women, the woman I had my kids with, she's a school teacher out there, and she's beautiful, smart, cultured, dresses good, style, clean. She's a good woman. It's just I'm a mess, so I'm back in Long Island.
You go see the castles and stuff. You ever go to Hanau and stuff out there?
Nah, I've never been to Hanau, but I've been to like castle, areas and seen some
nice castles out there. Like, it's good scenery.
Yeah. It's funny. They said when I was in Transylvania or when I was in Romania, they said you could buy a castle for like $500,000. And I was like, you know what? To fucking buy a house in Long Island is like $800,000. I was like, I should buy a
crazy as that. Yeah, right. How crazy is that, man? The prices in New York are
fucking castle. And I really thought about it. I'm like, I should buy a castle right there, a $500,000 castle, and just fucking post up there. But then they said it's a little expensive to heat it in the winter, and they said, it's not that easy to maintain a castle. So I don't know if I'm up for it. But
you got to put the guards on the roof with the arrows and stuff like that.
Yeah. The mailman catch a fucking arrow in the back.
You got to put the alligators in the moat and everything, and then you got to feed them. What are you going to do?
Yo, honestly, if I ever bought a castle, I would get alligators. Now that you said that,
you got to have it, right? I mean, that's mandatory. It's a castle.
Be a vampire, drink some blood. Transylvania, but also the castle's like 6 hours away from any fucking airport. That's why it's $500,000 too, I guess, because the location's not exactly.
Yeah.
You live near Frankfurt, or are you deeper into
Berlin, Germany?
Berlin, yeah, Berlin's nice.
Yeah, Berlin's a good city, Yeah, and Berlin's, with this Corona thing, I'm already taking my kids. I take them out to the movies. I take them to indoor playgrounds. I take them, we go every week. We go shopping in the mall. here it's still a little bit more like, oh, don't do anything yet, don't do anything yet. But over there, they're a little bit more relaxed, So.
Are you back in New York right now? Or are you?
Yeah, I flew out here a week and a half ago because I'm working on some videos. I'm shooting a video with some of the Wu-Tang Clan, Inspector Deck, and I want to shoot a video for like a little mixtape rhyme I just did too. I want to just get some videos done, and then I wanted to take my kids to America with me right now, but their mother said she's what if Trump and coronavirus stopped them from coming back or something? I don't know. So they're a little scared.
Yeah.
But I'm not scared. They're German they're dual citizens, so like Germany's not going to be like, don't let the kids back into our country, But I don't know. She's smarter than me in a lot of ways anyway. So if she says it, fine,
So you had no problems coming back. They didn't like.
No, I'm an American citizen, so they can't tell me not to come into my country.
Because of the virus, they don't have any travel restrictions or anything like that? Oh, no.
Not if you're a citizen. They can't stop you.
Oh, okay.
Country. And to go back to Germany, I have my 2 kids there, so I just have to give them all my kids, paperwork and that I'm the real father. And I still have my kids, so they can't stop you from seeing your children either. So
I got you. That's good.
Very good. All right. Before we get out of here, tell us about your album. Tell us about where we can find you.
Just R.A. the Rugged Man. Go to YouTube, R.A. the Rugged Man TV. Twitter, I think it's just at R.A. the Rugged Man, or it might be at R.A. the Rugged Man Official. But just look me up. Instagram, I think, is R.A. the Rugged Man Official because somebody took the R.A. the Rugged Man name. Facebook, R.A. the Rugged Man Official page. I think I got Twitch and Snapchats, but I don't really know how to use them. I'm a little old, but I think Snapchat, I'm Rugged Man Lives or something. I don't know. But the rest of the stuff, just look up IG, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's enough to look up for now,
There you go. And your new album, All My Heroes Are Dead, you can find it on iTunes. I downloaded it, so hey, it's out there, man. So good luck with that and everything. And I can't thank you enough for coming on today, man. This was
thanks,
great,
guys.
man.
I hope we had a good conversation. Sorry,
of course, man.
Emil Griffith. I'm sorry, my memory drew a blank on a legend like that. I feel
we all knew it, but we just couldn't process it.
I'm so disappointed in myself. I did that with like one of my favorite film directors the other day. I was you get old. I was at dinner and I was like, I can't. Used to be like, I can name every fucking name and history of everything and their records and what year they fought what. Now I'm like, who's Emil Griffith? Like, what the fuck? Crazy. But all right, brother. Thanks for having us, guys.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man.
Peace.
Be good.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he's cool.
That was really cool, man. That was very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we were talking to him for a long time, bro.
I got to talk to him for the entire show. I mean, we could have talked to him for hours. I mean, really, because he's just a genuinely likable guy. He's, he knows boxing. And I mean, we just talked about boxing with him and it's just, about his career and everything. I could have picked his brain forever, man. I really could have. One of the coolest guys I think we've had.
He's a cool dude. I interviewed him. I interviewed him way back when in, I think 2010 or 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's funny. He's funny, dude.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So, Beeb, come on.
I know. I can't bust.
Come on, why?
These
guys get up and they got to sing in front of like what are those judges? Simon Cowell or whatever. You got him, man.
I should have done it.
He could have put you in a video. He would have put you in a video too. Maybe he put you in a video.
I could have got like a spot on one of the albums, huh, man? Like just did like a verse.
I think he's looking for guys for his video. I said, go to his Twitter.
I could have did a verse for him.
You should have. I told you. Can't get shy. You got gun shy.
I got gun shy, man.
You should have. You should have just bust it out now. Maybe he's gonna watch it back. You know what I'm saying?
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Beeb.
He's wrong with you. Like I can't be judged by someone like him, like because he's like up here. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't compete with that.
Yeah. No,
I can't even get close. I can't get. He's a good lyricist, man. He's got a real good flow, man.
Lobo, Corey Lee, thank you so much because I think he contributed earlier. And Low Blow Champ says Beeb has to freestyle for the show. I ain't know he had skills. Thank you so much. That's a big one. You got to do it now, Beeb.
All right.
Go ahead. Talk about getting the girlies' pants.
You like that one? I'm gonna do the
Yeah,
old
that
one.
was good.
That verse. You like that verse? All right,
Yeah,
good verse.
yeah. That's what you should have done for the Rugged Man.
A former lowlife, but now people call me the king, tearing it up with every lyric that I bring to the table. Because I'm willing and able, I'm in more homes than Comcast's cable. I got the skills that'll rattle your brain. I'm a threat like Saddam Hussein. Everybody know my name. Joe Habib's a top soldier. Kid, they should have told you, you really need to pack a lunch. My rhymes hit hard just like a Tyson punch. So give me a chance. I bet you I can make you dance. Show me your girl. I bet you I get in her pants. I'm breaking egos and money is what I'm stacking. Joe Habib on the mic, you know I'm down for action.
There it is. There it is. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. See what he missed? He could have brought you out on tour with him once the COVID thing gets out of the way.
He was there, though. I would have choked.
You would have choked him. He was there.
I would have fucked up. I would have fucked it up, man. I would have fucked it up. I would have fucked it up, man.
All right, let's go to the phones here, man. 805, you're live. Or maybe you're
Hey,
not.
what's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Nothing much. Just listening to your guys' interview with Raw the Rugged Man. I've heard him talk boxing before. He's a really knowledgeable dude. I wonder if you guys ever talked to Vinny Paz? Because he's also kind of in the same boat as Raw the Rugged Man.
He's talking about the rapper Vinny Paz.
Yeah, the rapper Vinny Paz, not the
I've never talked to him.
Yeah, the rapper, not the boxer.
Did I screw up his name? Is it Ra the Rugged Man or is it R.A. the Rugged Man?
It's R.A. the Rugged Man.
Okay. I thought it was R.A., but
okay.
All right.
Well, some people call him Ra, but I'm not sure if he goes by R.A. all the time.
Nobody calls him Ra.
It's R.A. It's R.A.
Oh, okay.
People out west call him Ra.
So, as far as the fights this weekend, man, the one that I really thought was gonna, I thought it was laid out for him to win was Dillian Whyte against Povetkin, who I didn't think had much left, and I honestly thought that he was gonna, put him away after he knocked him down twice in the fourth round. I said, yeah, it's pretty much a matter of time. And man, to see Povetkin lay him out with that uppercut was like unbelievable. Like, it was like, wow, that kind of came out of nowhere. Poor guy went from waiting all these years to fight to get a big money fight against either Wilder or Fury, and it just all went down the drain thanks to Povetkin. So it'll be interesting to see. Hearn was saying that he's got a rematch clause, so I'll be interesting to see when they decide to do the rematch, because I have a feeling White's going to want to get back in the ring and prove that was just kind of a fluke. But that's a huge win for Povetkin. Yeah.
Here's the crazy thing about it. You hear what Hearn said after the fight? I was telling Eric, I was laughing about this with Eric. He goes, "Oh, White needs to get a rematch so we can get that #1 spot back." There's no guarantee that if he wins the rematch, he's going to get his #1 spot back. The WBC doesn't have to rank him #1.
No.
They have to order. They have to order.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, that the rematch would have to be an eliminator for a mandatory position. And if the WBC doesn't do that, then he's not going to be the mandatory anymore. Fucking Eddie Hearn. What's he talking about?
Yeah, no, that's not going to. Yeah, I don't get that one at all. Yeah, that is ridiculous that Hearn would say that, because if he beats Povetkin, all of a sudden he's put back in the #1 spot. That's not going to happen.
Bullshit.
He's going to have to go back to the end of the line again, I think. Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that rematch. I did see the fight between is it Pursoon and Taylor?
Yeah, that fight was great. That was awesome, that fight.
That fight, I tell you what, man, I thought that
it was a good fight.
I thought it was one-sided though. I thought she couldn't lay a glove on Taylor, man. I really did.
Yeah, I had it for Taylor.
Busted her up.
I had it for Taylor 7-3.
Yeah, Taylor just busted her up, did whatever she wanted to do. I mean, Pursoon, she looked like a different fighter than she did the first fight. And I don't know if it was because of I don't know what the deal was, but Katie Taylor went back to the drawing board, fixed whatever.
I read something, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read something, Eric, where they talked to Pursoon after the fight, and Pursoon says that I guess she felt like she might have put the weight like on wrong as far as like going back to lightweight, because she said that she's going back down to 130 because she felt like sluggish and out of it at 35. So I don't know exactly what happened, but it seems like she probably had a bad weight, like a weight cut or something, and it just didn't work out. Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you guys. Taylor took her to school and picked her apart really easily. It was a big difference from the first fight. So at least Taylor was able to get her, beat her and move on from this point and see, who else is out there for her. Maybe she gets a fight against, Michaela Mayer or somebody like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. And the Alvarez Joe Smith fight, man, talk about putting an ass whipping on Alvarez that I've never seen anybody put on him last night. Joe Smith just took that dude apart all throughout the fight, and it was ridiculous how Alvarez just did not do anything to try to change the tide of the fight. It was just kind of like Smith was like a snowball rolling downhill, and Alvarez didn't do anything to stop it, and he just kept getting steamrolled throughout the whole fight. And when he landed that nice right hand and knocked him out, it was awesome. So it was a really great knockout, and he I thought Alvarez was going to get up because he looked like he wasn't out of it, but for some weird reason he waited till he got to 8 and then tried to get up at that point, and by then it was too late and they just counted him out.
Where do you guys come from that? The bag,
Doing a show, Notch. Doing a show.
Notch was over there getting yelled at. She said, "Get off the phone, Notch."
You better get it. You better get
Wow.
it. You better get to the dinner table, man. Dinner's on the stove.
No, that's not. No.
Get to the dinner table, kid.
Nah, that wasn't.
Said,
that
"You better
wasn't
clean up
nobody,
this
guys.
living
That
room,
was,
boy."
You mean that was nobody? Don't tell
I'm
her.
over here
Don't tell her she's nobody.
Yeah, right.
No.
You'll be sleeping on the couch tonight.
That was reminiscent of Ringside Robbie's mother coming in and yelling at him while he was on the show. Remember that?
Oh, that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Guys, I'm actually at work. That was a coworker that came in and said something, so that's why I really couldn't respond.
Okay, it's all good. Hey, whatever you, okay. You know what, guys? Nacho was at work. Don't worry about it.
Notch, I can't. If you're calling us when you're at work, that's dedication.
Hey, I'm saying.
It's caller of the year.
I think it's only. I try to get in contact with you guys as much as possible. So
I appreciate that.
And really quick with the with the other fight that happened. The PBC card. Typical, like I called it earlier. Why is it that Sean Porter keeps getting these like big money tune-ups?
Horrible.
And then he wins, and all of a sudden he's like back in title contention. It's ridiculous.
Because Al Heyman loves Sean
Who
Porter.
is this guy beating? Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's what it is. They're friends with you.
I swear, I think Al Heyman must have adopted Leo Santa Cruz and
90
Porter,
seconds.
because those two guys can't do anything wrong in his eyes.
Yep.
Like every time something goes wrong, he gets them right back out there and tries to get them another title shot right away. So
it's horrible.
Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, that was a terrible, fight. Man, Gallimore got steamrolled by Fundora.
Yeah,
I
sure
did not think that was going to happen. I thought Gallimore was going to put up a better fight, but man, all the credit to Fundora. He just went in there, beat the hell out of Gallimore, and just overwhelmed him and took him out. Like, that was an awesome performance by the kid. The only question I have is, he kept telling PBC that he thinks he can make 54 for a while. I mean, do you guys think he can keep making 54 for a while?
I mean, if he says he can, and he's making it comfortably, I heard he's making it pretty comfortable. So,
well, here's the thing, Notch. The guy throws a shit ton of punches. So if he was struggling making weight, he would probably be sluggish. He would be trying to be conserving his energy or whatever. So
yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised at the way he
Yeah.
won that fight.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to beat Gallimore, but man, I didn't think he was going to do that.
yeah,
I
he
didn't
can
think he was
fight.
going to steamroll him.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
didn't see him beating.
He-
Yeah,
he
I didn't
throws
see
a lot
him
of
beating down Gallimore like that.
10
Like, wow.
seconds.
Yeah, he throws a lot of
Yeah.
punches.
That was an awesome performance by him.
All right, Nacho.
I mean, I don't know, like
We're going to go ahead and get running. We got a few more calls to take.
All right, guys.
Get back to the dinner
right,
table
guys.
for you get in trouble. Let's see. She came in and yelled at me.
Make sure you get back at that dinner table in time. You're gonna get screamed at.
Area code 773. You're live.
Bitch nigga, don't make me pull a trigger. 9mm, each one gonna hit you. What you saying? Don't make me get the scram. I'll leave your ass laying. What you saying? Hey, that's your Beebs right there.
That's your B.
That's your Beebs right there. All right, I'll move on. That was
That was
crazy
for
as hell.
B, baby.
Boxing.
B, what did you
You
think
know
of that
what?
freestyle? What did you think of that freestyle, B?
Povetkin.
Fire.
Fire.
Hot fire. Povetkin. You know what I was thinking about? This applies to Povetkin and Elir Alvarez. The high guard. The boxers who put their high guard up, they don't really see the shots coming because they pretty much they freeze up, they clinch up, they pretty much close their eyes and try to absorb the damage on their arms and gloves. And too many times I've seen shots sneak in under uppercuts. They hook around the side of the gloves, clip the ear, clip the temple. Body shots, big body shots. We've seen that with Golovkin versus Shevchenko. What do you guys think of that high guard? I think it's a dangerous thing to do.
I mean, it depends. The shoulder roll is a dangerous thing to do too, but if you do it correctly, I mean, it's just on how well schooled they are with the certain and how comfortable they are with the style. They can come around with the high guard and you leave your body a little bit exposed. You can come around with shots, but it all depends. It all depends on the fighter. I always think that people are crazy for leaving their left hand way down like they do, like that Kronk style. It works for some guys, doesn't work for everybody though. Thomas Hearns was pretty good at it, but he also got clipped with the right hands and put him away. So tough to say.
Yeah, I was thinking you're better off. You move more. Use your feet, move, slip and rip to be able to see the punches. You want to be able to see everything coming. You don't want to you got your gloves pressed up against your eyes like that. You can't see the shot. You're not going to be able to see the shots, and that's when shots slip in like this. But like Beeb was saying, that punch was it was something to behold because a heavyweight set it up with the jab, flip the right hand, pretend he was going to the body because he was working that punch to the body earlier in the fight to disguise his uppercut later in the fight. And man, this got the power in that left hand.
That was a great
I
breakdown.
don't know.
What a great
White's never seen
breakdown.
anything like that. He's never seen anything like that. Yeah. What were you saying?
It's a great breakdown. I like how you broke that down. May give you a guest spot on
Yeah.
the show one day.
Appreciate it because, hey man, I've been studying my boxing and really picking it up. But yeah, that uppercut, that punch is like, it's got to be one of the prettiest shots I've ever seen. Literally one of the prettiest shots I've ever seen. What do you guys think? You think it is?
That uppercut that he hit him with,
It's got to be up there.
it's up there. I mean, there's a ton of shots that we've seen him hit like that, but every time you see him, Tyson threw that shot and the announcer, I think, even said it was like a Tyson-esque uppercut. And it was. He just went under, boom, and just popped him. And it was lights out, man. It was a thing of beauty.
It was a competitive fight too.
Yeah.
Except for
Tyson definitely
Yeah,
has
it really was. It really was. It really was.
the
All
fact
right.
that he's 40 years old. He was dropped twice. And you come back and do that against a bigger, younger man. it was impressive. But how about Joe Smith Jr., blue collar,
Very impressive too.
local union worker, just went in there and man, he went full. I don't know what's the best way to describe him. Terminator mode. That dude is just straight Terminator, walking people down. I gotta see a fight versus him and Serbia. I have to see that fight sometime down the line, sooner rather than later. But I want to ask you guys this question about the fight coming up between Umar Salimov and Maxime Vlasov or something. I was not too familiar with these guys. Who do you think is going to win that fight, and how do you think Joe Smith matches up?
I think Glaskov's going to win, and I think Joe Smith can beat Glaskov. I think he has a shot.
I'll be honest. I don't know that Joe Smith. I think Joe Smith's a good fighter. I think Joe Smith's a good gatekeeper. I don't know that Joe Smith beats those upper echelon guys, though.
I think Beterbiev and Bivol he can't beat, but I think he has a shot to beat the other guys. What about him versus Kovalev?
Yeah, he beats Kovalev.
Right?
That's interesting to me. I think that's interesting. I think Kovalev's chin deteriorated, and I don't think he'd be able to withstand the swarm. What's his name?
I don't think so either.
Who's that? Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp couldn't hurt him and nearly had him out of there. I think Joe Smith could get him out of there. But my last point of the day, Clay Collard, 5-0. Sean, what did Sean Porter say? He said he's being protected. Did you hear that? He said Clay Collard is being protected.
Who said that?
You guys didn't hear that?
No, who said he was being protected?
Sean Porter?
Sean Porter.
You talking about Tim Bradley?
Sean Porter. No, Tim Bradley. That's what I meant. Tim Bradley, yeah.
He's an idiot. I never did like him. I don't like him as a fighter. I don't really like him as a commentator either. He's not being protected. I mean, they put him against up-and-coming guys. He won. You know, he's not being protected. He was a guy. He was supposed to be a stepping stone guy who started beating people.
First of all, they put him in there as a journeyman. He's not calling the shots. They're putting him in there. They're making the fights for him. Like, what do you mean they're protecting him? How many upsets the guy scored?
Yeah,
right.
He earned his stripes.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's earned those. He's earned these fights against these last two opponents because of what he did against who was the Mexican prospect, undefeated prospect he knocked out.
I don't
get his name, but that was a really big win. And then David Kaminsky, that was another big win that they're trying to build his name off Clay Collard. So that's what happens. You get some two big wins, you earn some hype, earn some respect, and then they give you I don't know about a layup, but they give you an easier fight.
They're doing the right thing. They're doing the right thing with him because they might have a potential star on the making. You know what I mean? Because now he's got some traction. People now know who he is. People are now looking forward to his fights. So now you could say, okay, instead of this guy being a stepping stone, let's feed him a couple of people and let's make a bigger fight. You know what I mean? They're doing the right thing with him. They know what they're doing. They're doing the right thing with him. So, all right, man, we're going to get running here.
I agree.
We're going to get running and go to the next call. Thank you so much for calling. Corey Lee. Beeb, Corey Lee is on hold. Should we keep
Corey Lee's boxing?
Yeah.
What is it, Corey Lee?
Back.
Back with another
Baby, I'm back.
banger.
Yeah. Yo, man, I hope everybody's doing well, man. You know, I really do. Y'all been doing good?
Yeah, been doing great, man.
Can't complain, Corey Lee.
Nobody would listen to us
Right.
anyway, Beeb.
That's good to hear, man. Y'all families is all healthy and everything, right?
Yes.
Everybody's good?
Thank God, yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Thank you for asking.
All right. That's good. All right, now that we got that out of the way. Man, I mean, what a weekend, baby. This weekend had ice season written all over it. A lot of fighters that were supposed to win got ice.
Dillian Whyte's one of them. He's at the top because, I mean, I caught the replay. I didn't catch it live because a couple of my friends are going back to college this weekend. So I was just trying to, we were having a good time or whatever. So I didn't watch the fight, but I watched the replay. But wow, man, Dillian Whyte got iced by an aging Povetkin. I mean, wow, he was losing the fight. I didn't hear anybody's breakdown. I just called in about 10 minutes ago. The guy before me, I didn't even get his take on it or whatever, so I didn't hear any of y'all's take on it. I'm fresh-minded, so I mean, my personal opinion is the way Dillian Whyte got iced, he was winning the fight, and if you looked at Povetkin's face after the fight, I mean, it was brutal. I mean, he took a lot of hellacious punches. Povetkin did. A lot of people, all they see is the big win, the big win, the big win. Yeah, it was a big win. But you're talking about an Asian fighter that has taken plenty of punishment. But he was giving it back, And I don't know if y'all noticed that the uppercut that Povetkin threw to end the fight. My personal opinion is like I said, I haven't heard any of y'all's breakdowns, but my personal opinion is, he set traps, man. I had trap written all over it, man, because he kept going to the body of Whyte, and he turned. It looked like it was going to be a sudden body shot, but he turned it, and it was an uppercut. It was so slick by a very, very calculated punch from Povetkin. So you got to give him the utmost props for setting traps on a much younger fighter and a way less wars in Dillian Whyte. You know what I mean? But wow, man, did y'all catch that or what? Did y'all see that trap he set up, or did anybody catch that or what?
That's a beautiful breakdown, Corey Lee.
Thank you, man.
That was a good breakdown.
Yeah, so I mean, thank you, man. And like I said, I've been watching the fights. I used to box myself, so some of those things that I see in there, maybe to the keen eye can still miss it. You know what I mean? But I've seen where Povetkin kept going. He pretty much did the same thing Mike Tyson was known for. One to the body, then the next one is the uppercut. Literally, it was just like that. But this punch was just one punch. It was just one punch. He faked the body shot and went up underneath Dillian Whyte's guard and iced him.
I thought Reese Mack made the comment he slipped the right cross from Dillian before landing that uppercut. That's what I thought too. When he went underneath, it was from a slip. He was slipping a shot.
Oh, Corey Lee knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about.
I'm sorry. I should have known.
Can't question Corey.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. My personal opinion is, and it only matters what Dillian Whyte was thinking. You know what I mean? Because obviously he was clinching as if to say, this is gonna be a body shot. I'm ready for it.
That's what I saw, Corey Lee.
Surprise, banger.
I was trying to tell Beeb that same point earlier. He doesn't want to listen now.
Reese Mack doesn't know what he's talking about. He went from trying to bully me in the chat. Then I got a wrench. Now we're all cool again. Fuck you, Reese Mack. But I'm just saying, like, to be honest, I mean, I'm a realist.
You gotta stop bodying. You gotta stop bodying these people in the chat. You gotta stop bodying these people in the chat. You gotta let them know. You gotta let them know what time it is. You gotta let them know what time it is. You got G status. You got G status now, Daddy. You got G status. You gotta flex. You gotta flex.
Yeah. And if Reese Mack, if you ever want to debate on any fight, you know where to catch me at. Corey Lee Boxing. That's all I gotta say.
Corey Lee's real easy to find,
but,
too.
a lot of these trolls, all we see these trolls is in the comment section. Like Jason Reese Mack. I mean, Jason and Reese Mack are best friends, so you can only imagine, what their conversations are about.
Jason's got like friends on Facebook, and that's about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, get a life, man. I mean, come on, man. But I mean, other than that, man, Joe Smith Jr., man. I mean, wow, man. I caught the highlights of the Alvarez fight. So did that Alvarez versus Smith fight that took place Saturday, correct?
Yes. Last night, yes.
Okay. Because I missed that one, but I caught the replay for that one as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all guys watched it. Like I said, I didn't hear any of you guys' breakdown on anything tonight, so I'm kind of blinded by what y'all talked about.
We really didn't have a breakdown on too much
from
tonight.
what
We got
I
right into the
see-
interview.
Oh, okay. So from what I've seen in the Joe Smith Alvarez fight, I've seen a lot of punishment, man. Like I said, I don't remember watching the whole fight. I didn't watch the whole fight, but I did watch some of it on the replays and stuff like that, like 1 through 6 or something, however long the fight went. So did Joe Smith ice Alvarez at the end? Because I was actually watching when y'all.
He put him out. He put him out with a right hand, bro. It was a picture perfect straight right hand.
But listen, this is what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
But Eric and Beeb, this is what I'm saying. Did y'all see the accumulation of hellacious punches that Alvarez was taking to the head?
Oh yeah.
Jeez. Did y'all? Oh my!
He was getting broken down. He was getting broken down.
I was watching.
He's getting broken down.
Oh my God! That's a fight right there, you guys. Where I keep saying it. Some fights in some fighters' lifetime, they will never be the same after that fight.
He's done.
I heard on Twitter. Now, take it for what you want.
Fight.
Somebody said on Twitter that Eleider Alvarez is expected to announce his retirement next week. Take it news and rumors. Take it as rumor and innuendo. I don't know, but that's that's what I read. So, but I tell you what, it's whether it's true or not, he probably should after that one. It's not good. That second, I'll tell you what, that second Kovalev fight that he was in, that wasn't him. He didn't look like he hasn't looked like himself
mentally,
for a long time.
He looked like he mentally checked out in that fight.
Yes.
Did he not? Like he didn't want to be there for some reason.
He looked like Simon Brown in the second Terry Norris fight.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he looked like.
Yep.
Just frustrated because the guy wasn't going to fight him his fight.
What am I doing here? What am I doing here?
Yes.
My personal breakdown on Alvarez's my personal breakdown on Alvarez as a whole, as a fighter, as his career, he will always be known as defeating Kovalev. You know what I mean? He'll always be known for that magic moment, that one night, where he shocked the world and he beat Kovalev. But other than that, and it's sad to say, but I gotta call a spade a spade. I really feel like he went downhill after he got that first big check. I'm sorry, I do. A lot of fighters lose focus.
A lot of fighters do that.
A lot of fighters don't have the same hunger. You know what I mean? And it's the little things. You stop doing the little things. You stop staying after the gym because now you're good now. Or you think you're good. You had your first $1 million payday, so you think you're good. But like Earl Spence said, out of $1 million, you might not even bring home half of that. So it sounds good. It sounds so good. I got 1.1, to fight Kovalev in a rematch or whatever he got. You know what I mean? I'm just throwing a number out there. You know what I mean? But I know it was over $1 million. But all I'm saying is, and for the first fight, he didn't get nowhere near that, I don't believe. You know what I mean? But, my personal opinion is I think he lost a little bit of hunger. I think he lost a little bit of the oomph that he had brought in the first Kovalev fight where he was very hungry and a lot of fighters was ducking him. Because mind you, I was talking about Alvarez before he fought Kovalev on this show because he was in camp he had the same trainer as David Lemieux. Okay? He had the same trainer as David Lemieux and Arthur Beterbiev, so he seen them in camp every day. I mean, in camp. So when you have that trifecta right there of all hard punchers and Alvarez's style is more of a boxer, I feel like he became accustomed to, guys with, heavy artilleration, you know what I mean, and heavy power because Beterbiev is a very gruesome and very hard puncher, brutal puncher, and so is Lemieux. Either one of those guys can catch you with one shot and ice the shit out of you. You might not wake up. So when he had those two guys in camp, I feel like Alvarez would have learned from that. But in the Joe Smith fight, all of that shit went out of the window. He got hit with everything. And I was like, what the fuck? What Alvarez am I watching? This is not even the Alvarez in the first or second Kovalev fight. So, I truly think that, the second fight, I'll say the second Kovalev fight. The first Kovalev fight, I feel like he was hitting on all cylinders. That's what the Alvarez we thought we were going to get from that point moving forward. But from that point moving forward, he went downhill instead of uphill, on my personal opinion. So that was my quick little synopsis and breakdown of that situation. But as a whole, the heavyweight division is wide open, you guys. I mean, how do y'all feel about the heavyweight division right now? Where do we go? Deontay Wilder takes a loss. The mandatory challenger for Wilder took a loss. And a fight that, let's be honest, probably didn't even have to take that fight. But Eddie Hearn, being Eddie Worm, took the fight.
That's unfair.
And he wanted a payday. And he wanted to get his fighters paid, which is nothing wrong with that. But if you got that, you already got that position. You know what I mean? I know fighters need to eat. You know what I mean? But if you got that position to fight for that heavyweight title and it's coming up real soon, why chance it on that fighter? Which I'm not saying I'm not saying it's either a good or bad. I'm just saying why. That's all I'm just asking the question. What do you guys think about it?
Money. Well, see, I mean, realistically, if you're Dillian Whyte, when are you getting a shot at that belt? Really? I mean, think about it. When are you getting a shot at that?
Well, and plus
it ain't coming, son.
And plus, Eddie's got to put together a decent card because he doesn't want to put like
Eddie Hearn is going to make Joshua. You're right, Beeb, and Eddie Hearn is going to make Joshua Fury before he makes Dillian Whyte Fury.
That's true.
I mean, that's just the way it is. You know where Whyte screwed up? White screwed up when he signed back with Eddie Hearn, when he could have signed with PBC. That was just stupid, son. That was stupid. And you know what? This is his own doing.
If he was a PBC fighter, he would have had a title shot by now.
But let me ask y'all this. Was there a PBC offer on the table?
He was a free agent.
I got to talk to Al. I got to ask him what he offered him.
Yeah.
Well, was there a PBC offer? What was the offer like? You know what I mean? Like,
well, they faxed me over the contract and had me look over it, and I'm kind of sworn to secrecy on it.
What's up with the contract, B?
When I was looking at the contract, it had a lot of zeros on it.
Yeah.
Had a lot of zeros on it, so I don't know what he was thinking.
That's right. All right, Corey, we're going to get running, man.
So, like, moving. Oh, all right, man.
All right, man.
Y'all. Hey, look, I just want to say, man, thanks for the show, man, and y'all keep being great, man. Y'all have a great show, and it's both of y'all, man. Y'all doing an awesome job. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you very much, man.
Love you, man.
Catch Corey Lee on YouTube at Corey Lee Boxing. You look it up on YouTube. He's got all kinds of interviews and everything like that on there. Now we're going to go to Beeb from Rikers, live from Rikers Island. And his Lights Out is coming up soon.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
508, you're live.
Hey, yo! What's happening, people?
Mother of God.
What's going on? We're going to rap battles.
How you doing, buddy? How you doing, buddy?
I have to drop some lyrics. I'm doing great. Baby. Hopefully you're doing better than me.
Are you in a good mood today?
What's going on,
You were not
guys?
in a good mood last week.
Last week, I mean...
Listen, I'm happy as fuck, bro.
Last week, you made me nervous, bro.
Did we talk about boxing?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Listen, if we talk about boxing, man, I'm happy as fuck, man. Beautiful. Obviously, the performance that fucking Povetkin had, that was the best. That shit was crazy, man. They be sleeping on this man, counting him out, but he was fearful for many years. We agree on that.
It's a good performance.
Yes.
Can't argue with that. It was a good performance, bro.
But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people call it like an upset. Is it really an upset?
It was an upset.
I don't know.
It was an upset, but Povetkin, like I said, was live. He was a live underdog, man.
He was a live dog, but at the same time, that was an upset. I mean, nobody saw that happening. Yeah.
The problem is with Dillian Whyte, his defense is just so porous and he fades late in fights. So, and we've seen him look bad, I'm not gonna say look bad, but not look great in the Chisora fights, both of them. Not look great in the Rivas fight, not look great in the Parker fight. I mean, he's shown vulnerability in all of his fights as of late. So to sit there and think that it was an easy fight for him, no. But we still thought he would win. But the thought of an upset did cross our minds, but we weren't going to bet on it.
Yeah.
We weren't going to bet on it like we're going to bet on Teofimo. We're not going to do that with this.
I always saw that fight more like a 50-50, like anybody could have really had it. And in my humble opinion,
that's a fair assessment.
I said that, but I would say like boxing is, can you take for 12 rounds what the other man can do?
That's a Max Kellerman line.
It comes down to that. Can you take that for the 12 rounds and do better than him? And it seems that Povetkin, he was able to take the shot, get back up, adjust, and come back with a magnificent fucking punch. Because we all know as a fucking hardcore that there is no lucky punches in boxing.
Good breakdowns tonight from the callers, man. Good breakdowns.
So I mean, this man is dangerous, bro. This man, in my opinion, he should be ranked up there and a dangerous threat to any fucking body. I don't give a fuck anybody. You better watch out.
He gave Joshua a tough fight too.
Yeah, he really did. That was Joshua's toughest fight. That really was. It was one of his toughest fights at that stage of his career because he was coming up. He was going to run over everybody and en route to the title. That was his toughest fight.
Povetkin busted him up, rocked him. Povetkin hurt him.
Yo, these men start rose like on some fucking Amazon shit. This man should get his money, even though we're on the fucking depression for that type of performance. I'm not angry if fucking Eddie put the rematch at all. Because White was dominating and he hurt him. We could have a beautiful fight in the making. Beautiful fight. Everybody should back up this motherfucking rematch. Anyway, let me get to Alvarez. Bro, Joe, I don't know, man. Joe looked too strong in there. That man looked like too strong, bro. Who the fuck was doing the testing? Any testing being done?
Hey, listen, man. Joe Smith has never been popped. He's never been popped or anything like that. No reason to suspect him. Hey, listen, man. This guy doesn't he do like construction or whatever, like in his day job? Like he's a strong guy. That's not,
Listen,
baby, I don't construction, so don't give me that bullshit. So
but you grabbed the coffees for the guys. You didn't really do anything.
Georgie holds the stop sign so the cars stop, and he turns it around and says, "Go."
you held the nail buckets. That's all you did. Stop lying.
That's still pretty good, though, Beeb. I mean, those nail buckets are not light.
I was the water boy, just handing the water bottle.
Go grab us some coffees, Georgie.
Don't fuck up the car in the way, the company car. Anyways, listen. I don't have a lot to say. I got to give a shout out for you guys always being there. I called the other day believing that something will happen on the 18th. I guess there are more powerful forces out there looking out for us. And I got to feel blessed for that we got another fucking day. And thank you for everything, guys. Thanks the audience, everybody who always come here and support and give the thumb up.
All right, Georgie. Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, so I'm gonna leave you with that positive message, and I'll see you next week.
Love it.
Much better call this week than last week.
Stop it, Beeb.
Much better call.
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? He gets positive messages out, and you just
got to give credit where credit is due. I'm trying to give him credit.
What's the matter with you? It's a backhanded compliment. Come on. What's with you? All right, let's see here. Boxing schedule. Okay, August 26th. I believe this is Wednesday. This is on at 5 a.m., I believe, on ESPN Plus.
Oh, this
Jeff Horn versus Tim Zhu, and I'm glad they picked it up because I'll watch it later, but I'm not going to watch it at 5 a.m. That's a good fight. 10 rounds, junior middleweights. Thursday on ESPN, Lewis Crocker versus Lewis Green from Wakefield. Who cares? Let's see. And the 29th, August 29th on ESPN Plus, Jose Ramirez versus Victor Postol, 12 rounds for Ramirez's WBC, WBO junior welterweight title. Also on August 29th on ESPN Plus, Daniel Dubois versus Ricardo Snijders, 12 rounds heavyweights. Let's see here. Where did I see this? Okay, so on Fox Sports also on the 29th, Arislandi Lara versus Greg Vendetti and Alfredo Angulo versus Caleb Truax. This is where I saw it. On the CBS network on August 29th. We were just talking about this. So Evgen Kryatov versus Vaughn Alexander, 10-round super middleweights. That's the main event. On the undercard, I think it's got to be the same guy. Michael Nunn versus Samuel Clarkson, 6 rounds cruiserweights. Got to be the same Michael Nunn, no?
Yeah, it's him.
What in the world is going on with these guys, man? I don't get it.
He's got to earn a living. He's just got out of jail. He's got to pay bills. I got people black, man.
License plates don't pay that much, I guess. I don't know.
You got, he didn't get a stimulus check.
Oh man,
You're not getting the PUA benefits. The guy's got to earn a living, man. He's got a family.
Oh,
please.
What's the matter with you? Stop it. Just stop it.
You can't take food off the guy's table.
We pretty much went over all the other fights. Sean Porter versus Sebastian Formella. Las Vegas' own Sean Porter won a unanimous decision over Formella. That's pretty much all I got to say about that fight. Let's go to the news and rumors here. Listen, man. So Canelo Alvarez has lined up his next opponent, and it's Avni Yildirim. This may be the next opponent for Canelo. It was said that the WBC ordered the fight, but I'm actually reading that Canelo actually asked for the fight. So who knows what, and listen, honestly, who else is he going to get with that contract? I mean, really, like who he's got, and will DAZN put this on? Will this be part of it? Will DAZN, you know what I'm saying? This is a tough one for me. That's not really a marquee fight, and you're paying this guy how many millions? Beeb, any thoughts on this?
I don't know if they're ordering it, and it was it supposed to be for a title or something like that, or
and they said they ordered it, but I'm actually reading that Canelo actually requested that fight.
Well,
and then the WBC said, "Yeah, let's do that."
Isn't this for Benavidez's title that was stripped of him? They're fighting for that title, right? The WBC super middleweight title.
That I couldn't tell you. I don't know. But, my thing is,
because here's the thing. If Benavidez still had the title, Yildirim was the mandatory. He was going to fight Yildirim next regardless.
Well, Nacho was saying, and again, it's Nacho, but DAZN said no.
Yeah, they don't like the fight.
They don't like the fight. I don't like the fight.
But it's for I think it's for the vacant WBC title, if I'm not mistaken. That's
but if you're DAZN, but if you're DAZN, is this the fight you put on? Is this the fight you pay for?
Well, here's the thing: you put on him versus Rocky Fielding, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So
far he's had Rocky Fielding, Daniel Jacobs, and who else?
Kovalev.
He's had Kovalev.
So
I don't know, man. I don't know. Our train wreck of the week this week, De La Hoya making a comeback. Oscar De La Hoya announced this week that he's making a comeback. No opponent named. Listen, my guess, it'll be Sergio Martinez. Sergio Martinez just fought this weekend and won via KO in Spain. I don't know who he fought. I don't know how good it looked. Whatever. He still probably got 2 bad knees. Who knows? I mean, who knows? I also heard Chavez Jr.'s name tossed around. He would be wise to steer clear of Chavez Jr. We all make a lot of fun of Chavez Jr., but the bottom line is Chavez Jr. can fight. And Chavez Jr. is a lot younger, a lot stronger, a lot faster, and he can bang.
They always got to be careful here on who he selects.
He's really got to be. There is nobody in the top 10 that he can beat.
No.
That I am 100% confident of.
No.
There is nobody in the top 10 that he could beat. I would venture to say there's nobody in the top 20.
And here's the problem, Eric. This guy hasn't exactly been a clean liver since he retired from the sport.
Other than some kitchen utensils, some cocaine, and stuff like that. I mean,
So
aside from that whole thing, yeah.
It's not like he's been living healthy since he's been retired. So
No. And he clearly doesn't have the best judgment in the world. So
it's not like he's going to snap his
saying
fingers.
good, man.
It's not like he's going to snap his fingers and I'll automatically be, get in shape,
Yeah, and I mean, he looks good. I mean, we saw like a 10-second clip of him throwing jabs or whatever, and he looks good. He looks fit. I mean, he looks good, but
that cocaine.
It's a 10-second clip. What's that?
That cocaine keeps the weight off you.
That's what Dana White says. It's funny. Dana White says when they talked to him about Oscar making a comeback, Dana White said, "Well, cocaine's expensive." So yeah, man, it's not good. Listen, I would recommend that he goes back and he puts the Manny Pacquiao video up again and watches it over and over before he thinks about this. Insane.
He's got to have to take a look at himself.
Yeah, not good. Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, as we said earlier, is going to be scored and sanctioned. It will also be for a belt. Beeb, this went from 0 to 100 pretty quick here. The fact that I think that, number one, they moved it, but now it's going to be, without headgear. It's going to be, I think it was without headgear before, but now it's going to be like sanctioned, and I mean, listen, man, they're going to try to win. They're going to try to throw punches at each other. I don't think this is a good idea for either guy. I think it's a bad idea for Roy Jones as well. Roy Jones has never been like a big power puncher, and if Tyson hits you, he'll put you away.
Well, Jones was a power puncher, but at the at
168.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Not at heavyweight.
Not at heavyweight. He couldn't knock out Ruiz. So
no, and he hit him with some clean shots.
With everything but the kitchen sink, and Ruiz didn't go anywhere. So
no. So this ain't good, man. What are your thoughts on this? Because I tell you what, I don't like it. I mean, I'm going to watch it because I'm a degenerate. I mean, I've got no choice. But
I'm really worried about Roy Jones here. I'm just being honest. I just think that Mike Tyson, is still you still don't want to get punched in the face by Mike Tyson.
No.
Not with 12-ounce gloves.
Not with any gloves.
You know what I mean? So
let's be honest. I mean,
it's going to be
it's not good. Man.
It's a dangerous
fight for Roy. Roy got knocked out by Marco Hook. He's been knocked out a number of times. He's way past his prime. He has no business in a real fight.
And that's why I think they pushed this back, because to give the guys more time to train so they can prepare, because now it's going to be a real one,
Yeah, which is wonderful. You give Tyson more time to train to knock this guy out.
And I think it's going to be a real one. I think it's going to be a real one, because I think it would have been hard to sell this as just an exhibition, and I think for promotional purposes they have to now. They had to make this a real fight, right, for people to be interested in it.
Yeah,
because when you start telling people, "Oh, well, they're not going to go hard at each other," then where's the interest? They want
right,
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, nobody wants to watch an exhibition, especially when they're going to pay $40 for it. No,
Mike Tyson doesn't know how to go easy.
I can't imagine either one of them are really going to go easy. I mean, now, especially when there's a belt on the line and that kind of crazy stuff, man. This ain't going to be good, man. This is going to be a train wreck. And the worst part is I'm going to be right there and watching.
I'm there, man.
Because I suck.
I think I'm going.
Where's the fight at? Is it
California?
Oh, okay. And it's like closed, right? Yeah, it's all closed.
Yeah.
They should have had it in Texas. We probably could have had a crowd in Texas.
Yeah, probably in Texas they could have had a crowd. Yeah,
they don't care. They just let it open. It doesn't matter, baby. Florida's the one. Yeah, Florida's the one where they probably could have had an audience there.
Right at the UFC center.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm going.
Two big signings today for the PBC. I think these are really good. Maurice Hooker signed with the PBC this week, and Regis Prograis, I believe, what was that, a one-fight deal?
Yeah, he got a one-fight deal, and Maurice Hooker got a long-term contract.
And that's a good move for Prograis.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good move for Prograis. I really do. There's a lot of interesting options for him over there. He's a good fighter. They know how to, they'll know what to do with him at the PBC. Sometimes things are better. Like, we were talking about Dillian Whyte earlier. Dillian Whyte missed his chance.
He fucked up, man.
He's got nobody to blame but him, because Eddie Hearn, again, mishandled a career. He mishandled Kell Brook. He mishandled Dillian Whyte. He's only interested in the real top guys. And if you got him and Anthony Joshua, listen, the fact that you're not making that title fight for Dillian Whyte, but you're looking for Joshua to get that, come on. He's not with you, son.
Eddie Hearn is in the Anthony Joshua business.
That's all. Yeah, that's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
So, yeah, bad move for Dillian Whyte. But I think that Prograis, I think Prograis is better served on that side of the street, with PBC. I really do. I think they're going to have better fights for him. I think they're going to make better matchups for him. And I think he's going to make a lot more money over there. They're going to keep him active, more active than he was kept beforehand. Maurice Hooker is another one. I think they'll find good matchups for him. I don't know, I like Maurice Hooker a lot, but I don't think there's much of an upside as there is with Regis Prograis, put it that way. Out of the two signings, I like the Prograis signing better, because I think if they handle this correctly and he wins that fight, he could sign a good deal. And I think that's what he wants to do. He says that, I think with that one fight, that's how it's going to be, man. Joe Ramos says Bronner and Regis. Yeah, I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
I think Bronner's done.
I think so too.
And I won't be missing him.
How dare you?
Sorry.
He's from Titletown, Beeb.
Not really.
Why don't you show some respect?
Not really.
Put some respect on his name. What's the matter with you? He's from Titletown.
He's retired.
Yeah, but he's from Titletown, though. Nothing changes that. Once you're from here, because if you're not from Titletown, you're from nowhere anyway.
Too many train wrecks. Too many train wrecks of the week.
Too many train wrecks of the week. It's a train wreck king, baby. Sean Porter's from Las Vegas. He's not from Ohio. Isn't that what he said? Fighting out of Las Vegas last night, right?
Right.
Fighting out of Las Vegas. And I heard by way of Ohio or something like that. Fighting out of Las Vegas. Hey.
He's not welcome in Ohio anymore.
Not welcome here, baby. Nope. I know Ohio Runs Boxing loves Sean Porter.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does. He's a big Sean Porter guy. But
I like Sean Porter, but he's like mad corny. He's really corny.
Yeah, he really is. But I don't understand, what the purpose of that fight last night was with him and Formella. I really don't get that. There had to be a better stay busy fight than that. It just had to be.
And you watch now. Now he'll be right in line there for
he is
a Spence rematch. You watch.
Yeah. And against a guy that nobody had ever heard of, Formella. And you know what? I tell you what the thing about the fight last night, all right, is that Sean Porter threw everything at this kid and he didn't go anywhere. He really should have got rid of this guy in order to be back in line for a title shot. He really should have been able to get rid of this guy. And I think that's the problem with him in upper echelon guys. This is why he doesn't beat the Errol Spences. This is why he doesn't beat the Keith Thurmans. He has no power. I don't want to be on the end of his punches, but he doesn't have like that one-hitter quitter power. I don't know. But I think that's really, at the end of the day, that's what separates him.
But he's got a style that just really, it's a real tough style to deal with,
Yeah.
I thought Spence won 8 of those 12 rounds, but
knocked him down too. Knocked him down.
Some people thought the fight was close. I mean, I thought it was competitive. I thought
it was very competitive. But,
I didn't think it was close.
No. Especially with that knockdown. That's it. I
had it 117 to 111.
Yeah. Reese Mack said Porter did everything except knock him down. Well, you're right. He did. Yeah. But, if he's talking about being in line for another title fight after getting, after he just had one, I mean, do you want to see Errol Spence versus Sean Porter again?
I'll be honest. I don't want to see it. I wouldn't bother me to see it again. I thought
you know how I am with rematches.
But I thought it was a good fight. I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
It's a good fight, but it
was a good enough fight that I would enjoy watching it again. To be honest with you,
what fight I would like to see? I would like to see him rematch Keith Thurman. I think he would beat Keith
No.
Thurman in the rematch. Yeah, I think he
No.
would beat Keith Thurman in a rematch. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not interested in seeing Keith Thurman get a big fight again for a while because because I just think he's been out of it. I think he needs to rebuild. There's no way Pacquiao's supposed to beat him like that.
Well, did you hear? Okay, so the thing with Terrence Crawford and Keith Thurman, apparently they were beefing on Twitter, and he says, "Send me the contract." Turns out he wanted like $10 million for the fight. In this climate, you're going to get $10 million for that fight.
He doesn't want the fight.
Stop it. No, of course not. Of course he doesn't want the fight.
Easiest way to get out of a fight is price yourself out of it.
That's it. He didn't want to. He didn't want to pay him. He didn't want to fight. I offered it. I signed a contract. No. You know. I don't know. What are you going to do, Beeb? What are you going to do?
No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's it. All right, guys. That about wraps it up here, man. And thank you so much again to R.A. the Rugged Man for coming on tonight. That was a great interview. And that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. You can find me on Twitter at ringside73. And we will catch you guys next week.
Assalam.